Chapter 2504. Ling Zhao's aura suddenly grew stronger. He resisted Huang Jinrufeng's pressure and said, "Don't worry, it won't be long. In a few years, I'll set foot on the golden heavenly nation. At that time, don't be too shocked. As for this golden armor, I don't need it. You should take it back. I helped the gods' grimoire out of friendship, not because I wanted to get something." Ling Xiao said loudly, "Ha ha 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 ha." Huang Jinrufeng looked up to the sky and laughed. "You have backbone. Unfortunately, there are too many people with backbone in this world, but not many succeed. I'll wait for you. I hope you won't make me wait too long. I really want to see if the young miss has made a mistake." He casually threw the golden armor to Ling Xiao and said, "Consider this as me lending it to you. If there really comes a day when you reach the golden heavenly nation, you can return it to me." Huang Jinrufeng broke through the air and disappeared into the vast horizon. Ling Xiao knew that although his words were very loud, the gap between him and Huang Jinrufeng was too big. Therefore, he had to work even harder in the future. The Ox God's maze, the Qin nation's secret realm, he would not let any of them go. Becoming stronger was the main theme of his life. "Boss, let's go back to the 8 Immortal Mountain." Ling Yan patted Ling Zhao's shoulder and said, "No, you shouldn't go back. With your current cultivation, staying in the 8 Immortal City is simply a waste of time. Go to the Qin nation's capital and wait for me there. I'll definitely find you." Ling Xiao knew that Ling Yan wanted to stay behind to protect him. However, he did not want to be protected like this. Especially with his current strength, he was no longer afraid of those people. With the help of the butterfly lady soul, he could even fight against elders. "But boss, if I leave, what if those guys do something to you?" Ling Yan frowned. The divine grimoire had left. Ling Xiao returning to the 8 Immortal Mountain alone was a very troublesome matter. "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. When has your boss ever disappointed you?" Ling Xiao smiled and said, "Don't forget, I've already broken through the 5th floor of the ghost prison. A mere 8 Immortal Mountain can't do anything to me. However, I am very unfamiliar with the Chun Kingdom's capital. So, you have to help me familiarize myself with it. That way, when I go there, I won't be at a loss." "All right, since boss has put it this way, I'll listen to you." Ling Yan knew very well that if he continued to stay in the 8 Immortals County, not only would he not make any progress, he might even regress. Therefore, he had to go out. He wanted to go to the Chun Kingdom's capital and open up a new world for Ling Xiao. Just like that, Ling Xiao sent off Xin Dian, Ling Jiao Jiao, and Ling Yan. Then he spent some time to send Ling Yuhua and the others back to Yuhua town. He also gave Ling Yuhua a seal that had his divine consciousness on it. That way, the fake letter could be recognized very quickly. That way, they would not be deceived again. After returning to Yuhua town, Ling Xiao strengthened the formation and set up a new spirit gathering formation. Now that his cultivation had increased, his strength had increased greatly. The formations that he could set up were naturally stronger and more numerous. Not only could the spirit gathering formation provide endless energy for the other formations, it could also help the people of Yuhua town increase their cultivation speed. He believed that it would not be long before Yuhua town would develop to a level that was not inferior to the 8 Immortals County. After doing all that, Ling Xiao returned to the 8 Immortals Mountain. When he left Yuhua town back then, he really wasn't even worth a fart. His cultivation was only at the pitiful Grotto Heaven realm. He was not even at the half-step Yin Yang realm. Now he had become the most outstanding genius in the 8 Immortals County. He had even become an influential figure in the 8 Immortals Mountain. When he returned to the 8 Immortals Mountain, Ling Xiao realized that the people in the Sword Tribe's courtyard had already dispersed. Perhaps because they could not sense the aura of the Golden Knight and the Divine Grimoire, they thought that the danger had left. In Ling Zhao's courtyard, Lin Ruoxin's injuries had healed in a short time because of the elixir that Huang Jinrufeng had given her before he left. The strength of the others had increased greatly because of Huang Jinrufeng. It seemed that Huang Jinrufeng was a good person even though he was cold on the surface. The ones who improved the most were Qingluan Hua and Lin Yang. One of them had reached the peak of the 3rd level of hell of the Yin Yang realm. The other had reached the 5th level of hell of the Yin Yang realm. Although an ordinary Yin Yang realm could not compare to a 1st level Yin Yang realm, Lin Yang's improvement was huge. The others had also improved. Lin Ruoxian had also broken through the shackles of the past and finally reached the peak of the 5th level of hell of the Yin Yang realm. Now, she was not inferior to the top geniuses like Jian Lufeng and Ming and Hai Wuzuan. In the past, she had been suppressed by these people. Sigh, I owe them such a big favor. I must repay it. Golden heavenly nation, wait for me. I will go. Ling Xiao sighed. Next, it was his turn to deal with the matter. He took out the secret sword that the divine grimoire had given him from his storage ring and silently chanted an incantation. In an instant, a terrifying aura spread throughout the entire 8 Immortal Mountain. The divine grimoire's substitute appeared. This substitute could emit the same terrifying aura as the divine grimoire, but it had no combat strength. It was a paper tiger that could be broken with a single poke. However, Ling Xiao believed that no one would dare to poke this paper tiger. This was because the terrifying strength that erupted from the godly grimoire at that time had almost paralyzed the entire 8 Immortals Mountain. Even the sect master, Lin Quan, was terrified. He sat there and waited. Soon, almost all the upper echelons of 8 Immortal Mountain gathered outside the courtyard. Sect master, Lin Quan, young sect master, Lin Yuetian, and the remaining 7 clan elders. Although the Sword Clan elder was killed, the Yu Clan elder had been released, and she was now on Ling Zhao's side. The 8 great families, founding elders, and the 8 Immortal Mountains mountain lords had all arrived, and the geniuses were all kneeling on the ground, waiting for the divine grimoire's instructions. Looking at the submissive and panicked appearance of these people outside, Ling Xiao was laughing in his heart. If these people knew that the divine grimoire had actually left and that this was just a paper tiger that could emit its aura, they would probably vomit blood in anger. Although he found it funny, Ling Xiao's expression did not change. Some words were not as important as the divine grimoire's words. The divine grimoire's substitute could naturally speak. This was just a basic function. You're all here. The divine grimoire's substitute spoke in a very arrogant tone. Greetings, senior. What orders do you have? Lin Quan asked respectfully. The others were also frightened. They did not know what this despairingly powerful woman wanted to do. Chapter 2505. I have to leave the 8 Immortals County for a while because of some matters. However, my good disciple will continue to cultivate in 8 Immortals Mountain. He has already been recognized as the master of the Shadow Black Gourd. To be exact, he is now the leader of the Dark Ones. However, he is still young, and I don't want him to be the leader. However, he must have the right to participate in the Ox Deity's maze. Shinkodex's voice wasn't loud, but it was enough to silence the people outside. However, when they heard that the terrifying woman was leaving, they relaxed a little. But Senior, Ling Xiao is a wanted criminal of 8 Immortals Mountain. He has been expelled from the sect. He has no right to participate in the Ox Deity's maze. There were still some bold people in the crowd. The one who spoke was Ming. Although Ming was a woman, she had a very proud temper. Perhaps she could be considered a person with a backbone. However, it was clear that her backbone wasn't suitable for the current situation. As soon as she finished speaking, and Feng Yun, Anya Xing, and the others broke out in a cold sweat. If that terrifying woman went crazy, Ming would be dead for sure. Sure enough, it was as they had expected. As soon as Ming finished speaking, she was sent flying. She fell unconscious on the ground. Everyone was shocked. Many of the Dark Ones were angry, but they didn't dare say anything. What they didn't know was that it wasn't Shin Codex who attacked in Ming, but the Butterfly Girl. Ling Xiao didn't let the Butterfly Girl use her full strength, because if she did, she would fall unconscious again. She wouldn't be able to help him for a long time. That was why Ming didn't die. She was only unconscious. Humph! If it weren't for the fact that my good disciple needs to be taken care of by you, I would have killed you. This time, I will teach you a lesson first. Shin Codex's substitute snorted. Since Ling Xiao has been recognized as the master of the Shadow Black Gourd, he is fully deserving of being a member of the Dark Ones. If anyone dares to object, they will be enemies with your ancestor and violate the rules of your ancestors. I taught her a lesson, right? Senior, you are right. And Feng Yun, Anya Xing, and the others breathed a sigh of relief when they heard that Ming didn't die. And Feng Yun and Nightwalker of the Dark Race were very unhappy. Ling Xiao was actually recognized by the Shadow Black Gourd as its master. This was something that they had never expected. Aside from the first ancestor of the Dark Race, no one else had ever been able to make the Gourd recognize them as its master. They were furious, but they didn't dare to say anything. They had no choice but to accept the reality before their eyes. In their opinion, since Shendian was Ling Xiao's master, he naturally had the confidence to control the Shadow Black Gourd. After all, the dark Shadow Black Gourd was nothing much in the eyes of such an expert. Truth be told, Ling Xiao didn't care about the dark Shadow Gourd. If it wasn't for saving Sire Shui, he wouldn't need it. What he needed more was the Black Immortal Sword. He wondered if the Black Immortal Sword and the dark Shadow Black Gourd could fuse into one. Forget it. In front of such a powerful martial artist, it's already not bad if I don't lose my life. As for the Shadow Black Gourd, since Ling Xiao has already obtained it, we can only let him be. In that instant, and Feng Yin seemed to have aged a lot. His meticulously planned plan turned out to be a complete failure in the end. He thought that Ling Xiao would never be able to comprehend the shadow martial art, but Ling Xiao had comprehended it. He thought that Ling Xiao would never be able to obtain the Shadow Black Gourd, but Ling Xiao had also taken it for himself. All of this was beyond his expectations. Of course, the most important thing was still that terrifying woman. As long as that woman existed, she would become their curse. It won't be too late to deal with Ling Xiao after that woman leaves. Jian Kuan snorted coldly in his heart, who knew that the woman seemed to have seen through his thoughts, and suddenly said, Although I will leave a helper for Ling Xiao. Although her strength isn't as good as mine, she won't put a martial artist at the peak of the 6th level of hell in her eyes. If anyone doesn't believe me, you can give it a try. When Jian Kuan heard this, he immediately kept quiet out of fear. His heart was filled with fear. Seeing this guy's expression, Ling Xiao was very happy. In fact, Shen Dian had left long ago, but he was still here pretending to be a ghost. He even purposely removed the array formation in the courtyard. It was an empty fort strategy for the other party to see. He wanted to make the other party suspicious. The smarter a person was, the easier it was to be fooled at this time. Coincidentally, there weren't many idiots in the 8 Immortal Mountain. All right, I should leave. Don't let me down with the arrangements for the Ox Deity Maze. Then she disappeared into the distance, and the terrifying aura gradually disappeared. The people kneeling on the ground didn't dare to get up for a long time, because they had accumulated too much fear. Even if Shen Dian left, they didn't dare to be careless. And Feng Yin, you'll be in charge of the Dark Tribe. I'll leave first. After a long time, the first person to stand up was Lin Quan. His son Lin Yuetian followed. After the two left, the other families also left. Right now, everyone was quietly observing the situation, not wanting to offend Ling Xiao. Who knew if that woman had deliberately pretended to leave and then hid nearby to spy on them? The tragic deaths of Jian Feiyu, the Sword Clan elder, and Elder Hindflower were still vivid in their minds. No one wanted to become a corpse in the hands of that woman and Ling Yan. In the end, only the dark tribe was left. And Feng Yin stood up carefully and looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, do you know that the number of participants in the ox deity maze is limited? We only have 2 spots, one for Ming and the other for Hai Wuzuan. This time, not only will the 8 Immortals Mountain and the Heavenly Wind group participate in the battle of the ox deity labyrinth, but the Duke of Yu's family, who lives in seclusion in the 8 Immortals County, will also participate. I've been to the Duke of Yu's family as a guest. He's been practicing martial arts all his life and has nurtured many geniuses. They're no worse than Ming and Hai Wuzuan. You're not weak, but you're nothing compared to these top geniuses. If we really let you participate in the competition, our 8 Immortals Mountain will have 1 less person. And Feng Yin was quite daring. The reason he said those words was because he wanted to test if that terrifying woman was still nearby. If Master were here, he wouldn't be able to live just because of what you said. Ling Xiao said coldly, "But I don't need to trouble Master with such a small matter. You said I'm not qualified because you think I'm not strong enough, right?" And Feng Yin smiled awkwardly. He didn't say anything, but his meaning was clear. On the other hand, Hai Wuzuan was emboldened by Xin Dian's silence. He said bluntly, "The ox deity maze is an ancient ruin discovered only recently. It's dangerous and will determine whether the 8 Immortals Mountain can continue to rule the 8 Immortals County." Chapter 2506. Hai Wuzuan now has the courage to speak because the godly codex has left. He said cautiously, "If we let a useless, weak person like you participate in the battle of the ox deity maze, which is related to the ruling power of the 8 Immortals County, won't it destroy the future of the 8 Immortals Mountain? Of course, you can let your master bully the weak, deliberately oppress us, and make us give you a spot. But in the Ox God maze, you still can't avoid death. Do you really think it's worth it?" Although Hai Wuzuan now dares to argue, he is still somewhat afraid. So he swallowed some of the more vicious words back into his stomach. He is afraid that Ling Xiao will be angry. In the end, it's just strength. "So, if I defeat you and other challengers, will I be qualified?" Ling Xiao looked at Hai Wuzuan contemptuously and said, "I know you are trying to provoke me, but to be honest, you are not in my eyes now. Do you dare to fight with me?" Hai Wuzuan is stunned. He really doesn't know where Ling Xiao's courage comes from. Without the godly codex, without Ling Yan, what is Ling Xiao? But he is still somewhat hesitant. "I know what you are afraid of. Don't worry, I won't let my master fight, nor will I let the former sect leader fight. You and I will fight in an ordinary arena. It won't involve life and death. How about it?" Ling Xiao saw through Hai Wuzuan's thoughts and said indifferently, "He doesn't want to fight in the life and death arena. He must not be sure." Hai Wuzuan heard Ling Xiao's words and had this strange thought. "Wuzuan, you and Ling Xiao exchange pointers. No matter who wins, no matter who gets the qualification to participate in the Ox God maze, you must not slack off. You must fight for the final victory with all your strength." And Feng Yin, the Dark Tribe's elder, felt that it was not easy to get a fight. If he continues to refuse, he is afraid that terrifying woman will appear again. The next time she appears, it may be the end of the entire 8 Immortals Mountain. That woman would not have the slightest bit of sympathy or pity. You don't have to worry about that. Since I've decided to enter the Ox Deity Maze, it's for victory. Of course, it's not for the 8 Immortals Mountain, it's for myself. Ling Xiao said indifferently, and Feng Yin thought about it for a moment. Actually, they wouldn't lose out in this matter. If Ling Xiao really did beat Hai Wuzuan by a fluke, that would mean that he was stronger than Hai Wuzuan. If that was the case, he would be able to increase the chances of victory for the 8 Immortals Mountain by participating in the Ox Deity Maze contest. All right, but Hai Wuzuan won't be the only one fighting you. There will be other geniuses from the dark races as well. Originally, this duel was going to take place, but it just so happens that we can do it together today. You don't have any objections, right? And Feng Yun asked. As long as you don't find a bunch of trash to make up the numbers. If I feel annoyed, I don't mind asking my master to come over and kill these people. That way, I can directly participate. Ling Xiao promised in Feng Yin, but he also gave him a serious warning. Thinking about the past and looking at the present, Ling Xiao really felt relieved. Although he had never succumbed to these guys in the past, he always had to be careful and racked his brains. Every day, he had to put in a lot of effort to deal with these guys. But now it was different. No matter who it was, they had to be careful when talking to him. They didn't want to offend him. This kind of feeling was really satisfying. However, Ling Xiao wasn't satisfied, because he knew that he was just a fox exploiting the tiger's might. Only when his strength was enough to crush all the experts in the 8 Immortals County would he be truly powerful. The battle arena will be set up in the Dark Races arena. I'll go prepare now. You can come on your own. After saying that, and Feng Yin turned around and left. Hai Wuzuan looked at the unconscious in Ming and gritted his teeth. He thought to himself, and Ming, don't worry. Although it's not a life or death battle and I can't kill him, I'll definitely make him pay the price. This pretty boy who only knows how to hide behind a woman's back is not worthy of participating in the ox deity maze contest. Hai Wuzuan liked Ming. This was a well-known fact. And Ming was injured by Xindian, so naturally he didn't dare to seek revenge from Xindian. So, this grudge must be counted on Ling Xiao. Seeing that everyone had left, Ling Xiao stood up and said, Sister Ruoxian, the most important thing for you now is to get the Snake Tribe's treasure as soon as possible. That way, in the upcoming Ox Deity's maze, the two of us can work together and have a higher chance of survival. Okay, I know. I'll go back to the Snake Clan now. Those people are still trembling with fear. They know my relationship with you. So naturally, they won't dare to not give it to me. Moreover, I'm also one of the successors of the Snake Clan. I have a valid reason. Lin Ruoxian nodded. After you get the treasure, come to me directly. I'll help you make it recognize you as its master. Ling Xiao said again. But didn't Senior Xindian leave already? Lin Ruoxian asked doubtfully. Senior Xindian? Haha, it doesn't matter. She left. I can still control those treasures. Do you really think that Xindian helped me control the Shadow Black Gourd? Ling Xiao chuckled. He got up and walked toward the Dark Races Plaza. Lin Ruoxian was stunned for a long time. She was shocked. This Ling Xiao, she really couldn't see through him at all. He was too powerful and too shocking. Shaking her head, she also left and went towards the Snake Clan. As for Qingwan Hua, Lin Yang, Feng Ru, Ho Rin Feng, Qing Feiying, and the others, they also went towards the square. Now, as long as they weren't alone, no one would dare to touch them. So, it shouldn't be a problem for them to go to the square and cheer for Ling Xiao. At this time, in the Dark Tribe's main hall, 6 young martial artists had been gathered together. Of these 6, only Hai Wuzuan was at the late stage of the 5th level of Hell. The other 5 were all at the peak of the 4th level of Hell in Yinyang Realm. What they needed to do was to weaken Ling Xiao so that Hai Wuzuan could defeat Ling Xiao more easily. Wuzuan and the rest of you, listen up. You can teach him a lesson, but you can't kill him. We can't afford it. This kid has such a powerful backer. Once he shows his power, the Dark Tribe will be destroyed. And Feng Yin was considered a formidable person, but today he had to be timid. Even his expression had become old. Hai Wuzuan was even more furious. The Dark Tribe's elder and Feng Yin was his biggest idol and goal. Now, because of Ling Xiao, a pretty boy who only knew how to hide behind women, he had become so dispirited. The anger in his heart could be imagined. He wanted Ling Xiao to pay a heavy price. Even if he couldn't kill him, he still had to torture him. Okay, let's go to the battle stage. Everyone was ready and went to the battle stage in the square. Ling Xiao had been waiting here for a long time. When he saw the 6 people carefully selected by Feng Yin, he smiled disdainfully and said, "You want to take turns to fight?" Chapter 2507. Don't be so troublesome. Just come at me together. As Ling Xiao spoke, he had already jumped onto the arena. You bastard! How dare you look down on me? Hai Wuzuan hated being looked down upon the most. Ling Xiao just had to poke at his weak spot. It was as if he was about to explode like a thunderbolt or a fireball. He had always looked down on Ling Xiao. He felt that Ling Xiao was only relying on that woman and Ling Yan's prestige. He didn't expect that Ling Xiao would dare to look down on him. Wuzuan, since he wants all of you to come at him together, then come at him together. Anyway, this is his request. I believe that Senior won't say anything. And Feng Yin said indifferently. In the end, the older the ginger, the spicier it was. And Feng Yin didn't care about the infamy of bullying others with numbers. As long as he could win, it was fine. In any case, he absolutely didn't want to see Ling Xiao being complacent. Even if Ling Xiao was strong enough, he didn't want Ling Xiao to represent 8 Immortal Mountain to participate in the Battle of Ox Deity Maze. Yes, Hai Wuzuan respected in Feng Yin, so he naturally obeyed his words. Even though he was unhappy, he still planned to step onto the stage with the other 5 people. Under the gaze of many dark tribe members, he prepared to fight Ling Xiao. Hai Wuzuan, I know you look down on me, but that's just your ignorance. I don't blame you. Don't worry, I won't use Black Immortal Sword because you're not worthy to use it. All right, all of you attack. Otherwise, once I attack, the 6 of you won't have a chance. Ling Xiao didn't put the other 5 people in his eyes because only Hai Wuzuan was a little bit of a threat to him. I hope you can make me happy. Don't end this battle too early. Hai Wuzuan's face turned pale when he heard Ling Xiao's words. He didn't know what Ling Xiao was relying on, but he believed that as long as Ling Xiao didn't have any outside help, it would be impossible for him to win. I knew you had a glib tongue, but this arena battle isn't a battle of words. It's better if you retract that mouth of yours. Today, I will let you, a frog at the bottom of a well, understand what a true genius is. Maybe Senior Xindian was deceived by you and abandoned you after seeing that you were defeated by me. Hai Wuzuan said coldly. Idiot. Ling Xiao pursed his lips. Even now, this fellow was still dreaming. Hai Wuzuan frowned, but didn't say anything because it was useless to say more. He couldn't win against Ling Xiao anyway. Surround him. With a wave of his hand, the 6 of them surrounded Ling Xiao in the center of the arena. Their auras were completely unleashed. I've heard that your beast soul transformation is very powerful. Today, I'll have a taste of it. Hai Wuzuan was not in a hurry to attack. Originally, winning with numbers was already an unfair victory. He hoped that Ling Xiao could use his beast soul transformation. That way, it would at least be a better victory. Taste? Wait until you can hurt me first. Otherwise, you really don't have the qualifications to see my beast soul transformation. Ling Xiao said coldly and disdainfully. It wasn't because he was arrogant. One had to know that even if he didn't use his beast soul transformation, his current strength was enough to fight with someone at the 5th level of hell, and he would definitely have the upper hand. Don't forget that he had profound inner force in his body, which was much stronger than the average inner force. He also had the mystic world physique. It didn't look special, but the power of Imperial Heaven-Earth could make his body stronger and stronger than ordinary people. If he had to use his beast soul transformation to deal with Hai Wuzuan, the battle would end very quickly. It would be too boring. Arrogant. Arrogant. You will pay the price for your contempt. Hai Wuzuan's voice was cold. Since his opponent didn't use his beast soul transformation, he didn't care. After all, they had already shamelessly bullied him with numbers. So what if they bullied him a little more? Even if Ling Xiao lost, it would be Ling Xiao's own fault. Kill! Hai Wuzuan waved his hand, and 6 figures rushed out at almost the same time. In order to take care of the other 5 people, Hai Wuzuan deliberately slowed down his attack. That way, the 6 attacks could be completely combined. It would be a bigger blow to Ling Xiao. The 6 of them were actually using top-grade high-tier, jade, grade martial skills. It seemed that the Dark Tribe had really invested a lot in training these people. Poor Ling Xiao, he had to complete such a difficult mission in order to get a top-grade 1,000-mile wolf. But these people could get it directly. This arena is too crowded. Why don't I clean up a few pieces of trash first? Ling Xiao smiled, and a long sword appeared in his hand. It was a mortal-grade long sword. Then, purple chi surrounded his body like the purple clouds in the sky. The long sword in his hand suddenly expanded into a huge purple long sword. What? When the huge purple sword appeared, Yi Zichen's eyes lit up. Except for Hai Wuzuan, the other 5 people were stunned, because they could feel the terrifying aura of the huge purple sword. The closer they were to it, the more likely they would die. They could feel that they were not going to fight, but simply going to their deaths. Ling Xiao was like a terrifying beast with its mouth wide open, waiting for them to die. No. The 5 people did the same thing almost at the same time. They suddenly stopped, turned around, and ran down the arena. Fight? What a joke! Their fighting spirit had completely collapsed. Running away, everyone was stunned, and Feng Yin shook his head, feeling very embarrassed. These 5 people were carefully selected by him, but they were so useless that they chose to run away without even fighting. It was a slap to his face. Ha 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 ha, at least you know yourselves. But I still want you to get out of the arena. 1,000-mile wolf pack attack. In an instant, 5 wolf shadows broke through the air. Their speed was astonishing. Hai Wuzuan's attack actually landed on empty air and heavily smashed onto the stage. This guy's speed and aura are so terrifying. He's not at the peak of level 4 of hell at all. He's at level 5 of hell. No wonder he's so confident. And Feng Yin felt that his brain was not enough. What kind of genius was this? In just 10 days, he had improved from the peak of level 3 of hell to the early stage of level 5 of hell. This speed of improvement was simply appalling. This wasn't the kind of sudden increase in strength that Ling Yan had obtained from special inheritance. This was the result of actual cultivation. Monster, not human. Ling Xiao did not care about the astonishment of Feng Yun and the other Dark Clan members. His goal was to defeat the 6 challengers in the arena. The first to be defeated were the 5 people who ran away. Although the 5 of them ran away, they did not jump down the arena, which meant that they did not admit defeat. Therefore, he had to knock them off the stage in order to win. Otherwise, it would be meaningless. Chapter 2508. Stop! Hai Wuzuan tried to catch up with Ling Xiao, but not only was he unable to catch up, but he also couldn't tell which one of the 5 figures was real. So, he could only choose one at random. At this time, the 5 martial artists were frantically fleeing in the arena. Fortunately, the arena was big enough, covering more than 100 square meters. Otherwise, they really didn't know where to run to. But no matter how they ran, each of them could feel the sharp sword intent behind them getting closer and closer, as if it was chasing after their souls. They couldn't get rid of it, let alone resist it. Young Master Wuzuan, save us! The 5 of them were so frightened that they forgot that they could jump off the arena and admit defeat. They actually shouted at the same time, hoping that Hai Wuzuan could save them. The 5 of them looked terrified. Their hair was messy. Their wretched appearances made them look like 5 lunatics. Haha, and Feng Yin, are these the so-called Dark Clan's geniuses? It's fine if they don't have the strength, but they don't even have the courage to fight. This is not the arena of life and death. What are they afraid of? Ling Zhao's sarcasm was like a knife stabbing into Feng Yun's heart. He also felt that it was really shameful. This was not the arena of life and death, and they wouldn't die. Why should they be afraid? They didn't even dare to make a move. They were simply 5 pieces of trash. 5 pieces of trash. The 5 of you get out of here first. East rising purple chi sword, one sword to the west. Wolf pack attack and one sword to the west were simply a perfect combination. One sword move was divided into 5 sword chi, attacking the 5 people respectively. Hai Wuzuan then realized that the 5 figures all had the ability to attack. The purple giant sword released a terrifying sword chi, which turned into a purple wolf shadow and pounced on the 5 disciples. The terrifying power contained was like a huge monster pouncing from behind, trying to suppress the 5 people with all its strength. East rising purple chi sword wasn't Ling Zhao's strongest move. It was just a good high-level jade martial skill. But it was more than enough to deal with these 5 pieces of trash. If he couldn't even do this, Ling Zhao might as well not stay in the martial world. After all, the cultivation of these 5 pieces of trash was much lower than his. Under everyone's horrified gazes, the 5 figures were sent flying hundreds of meters away by the violent sword chi and landed on the ground outside the arena. It was also fortunate that Ling Zhao did not go all out. Otherwise, this move would naturally have taken the lives of these 5 people. What a disgrace! And Feng Yin glared at the 5 of them. He really wanted to kill them. But after all, he had painstakingly nurtured her, so of course he was reluctant to part with her. Therefore, he could only curse and continue to look at the arena. At this time, Hai Wuzuan took advantage of the gap between Ling Zhao attacking the 5 disciples to continuously close in on Ling Zhao in an attempt to defeat Ling Zhao. Although he didn't know which of the 5 figures was real, the sword skill he had mastered, Sword Crying Mountain, could directly attack everyone in the arena. Clan Elder, why don't we take advantage of this opportunity to have Wu Zun kill Ling Zhao? Nightwalker suggested as he approached Dark Wind. If you kill Ling Zhao, aren't you afraid of that crazy woman's revenge? Her wrath isn't something we can bear. And Feng Yin frowned. But Clan Elder, are we just going to watch Ling Zhao do as he pleases? Nightwalker probably hated Ling Zhao the most. His son and Fei Tian was crippled by Ling Zhao. His sister, Hidden Flower, was killed by Ling Yan, who was brought by Ling Zhao. He couldn't wait to eat his flesh raw. Don't worry. It's too dangerous to kill Ling Zhao here. Let's wait until we're in the Ox Deity's maze, and let someone do it secretly. If he dies in the Ox Deity's maze, his master won't blame us. And Feng Yin gritted his teeth and said, Do you think I don't hate him? But this kid definitely can't be provoked now. Let's see if Yi Wuzuan can teach him a lesson. Anyway, I don't have much hope for those 5 trash. That's true. Wuzuan has been breaking through continuously during this period. He broke through from the early stage of the 5th level of hell to the late stage of the Yin-Yang realm. Not only that, but he also made a breakthrough in his martial skills. In addition, he's wearing the defensive treasures that we carefully made for him. Ling Zhao alone won't be able to defeat him. Nightwalker's mood improved a little when he thought of Yi Wuzuan. Although he couldn't kill Ling Zhao for the time being, it was good to let Yi Wuzuan torture him. Sword Cry, Yin Mountain. Yi Wuzuan's attack had already exploded on the stage. 4 of Ling Zhao's 5 wolf shadows had actually been completely destroyed. However, one of them gradually revealed Ling Zhao's true body. It seemed that he wasn't injured at all. Hee, not bad. Not only did your cultivation reach the late stage of the 4th level of hell, even your sword cry, Yin Mountain, has reached great success. No wonder you're so confident. Ling Zhao stood there and didn't seem to be in a hurry to make a move. He even had a disdainful smile on his face. Since you know, why don't you hurry up and surrender? This is not a place where you can behave atrociously. Don't think that just because you defeated those 5 trash, you're qualified to participate in the Ox God Maze competition. Yi Wuzuan didn't continue to attack in a hurry. This was because when experts exchanged blows, once they made a move, it was inevitable that there would be flaws. Yi Wuzuan didn't want Ling Zhao to find his flaws. Hee, Do you think you're very powerful with your cultivation at the late stage of the 5th level of hell? Did you forget how I killed Jian Feiyu? He's also at the same cultivation level. In my eyes, you're at best a frog at the bottom of a well who only knows how to dance. Your moves are like a little girl twisting her waist in front of me. They're beautiful, but unfortunately, they don't have any lethality. Ling Xiao laughed disdainfully. This kind of disregard for Hai Wuzuan made all the dark ones feel uncomfortable. They couldn't wait to tear Ling Xiao into pieces. Yi Wuzuan, who always thought himself infallible, didn't put Ling Xiao in his eyes and didn't even want to say a word to Ling Xiao. Now his face is almost like a zombie. His ashen face makes people think that he's been poisoned by corpse poison. Ling Xiao, you're really forcing me to kill you. You're delusional. I won't give your master a reason to destroy the 8 Immortal Mountain. But don't worry, I'll make you lose miserably. Top tier, Jade grade martial skill, Dark Shadow Storm. As one of the 2 top geniuses of the Dark Clan, Yi Wuzuan naturally knows top tier, Jade grade martial skills. But it's a pity. This martial skill is only at the small success stage and can only be used at the beginning. Yi Wuzuan estimated that it would wither after 2 uses. But to be honest, even if it was a low-grade, top-grade Jade grade martial skill, it was still much stronger than a top-grade, high-grade martial skill. Hidden Flower used this move before. Unfortunately, he was killed by Ling Yan midway, and this move came to an abrupt end. Now, when Yi Wuzuan used this move, its power is almost equal to Hidden Flower's. So in everyone's eyes. Chapter 2509. Hai Wuzuan's power was stronger than Ling Xiao's. It was more powerful than Ling Xiao's martial arts, and it was more powerful than Ling Xiao's weapon. How could he not win? Most of the Dark Tribe members had high hopes for Hai Wuzuan. No Light in the Night and Hai Wuliang were the only ones who frowned. The 2 of them favored Ling Xiao more. After all, Hai Wuzuan was a member of the House of Hai, but he was a lackey of the House of Hai. On the other hand, Ling Xiao favored the House of Hai more. The sky was filled with shadows, forming a strange black monster that charged at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao stood there, calmly looking at this terrifying monster. The corners of his mouth curled up, and he suddenly smiled. A top-tier Jade grade martial arts is indeed powerful. It's a pity that it's only at the initial success level. It's not even as powerful as a top-tier Jade grade martial arts. Today, I will show you what a real combat genius is. Ling Xiao smiled and raised the long sword in his hand. Then a ferocious black aura was released from his body. The sword began to emit a terrifying whistling sound. The roar of a tiger came from the Yin Mountain. He thrust the sword forward, and the entire square seemed to have turned into the Yin Mountain ghost realm. It was the same move, but when it was executed by Ling Xiao, its power and aura were much stronger. That was because he had reached the transcendent state. Shadow martial arts. Sword cry of the Yin Mountain. Transcendent state. Boom! The ferocious black tiger tore the shadow monster apart and continued to pounce on Hai Wuzuan. Hai Wuzuan's face paled. However, he did not give up just yet. After being blocked by the shadow monster, the black tiger had weakened a lot. He changed his move. You know shadow martial arts, so do I. In fact, I know more than you. The second style of shadow martial arts. Sword rends the underworld. The black Qilin sword in his hand whistled, and a huge sword shadow appeared, as if it was going to tear the Yin Mountain ghost realm apart. The black tiger turned into nothingness. Hai Wuzuan smiled excitedly. Unfortunately, his smile did not last long. Ling Xiao threw away the broken sword in his hand and swapped for a new one. Then he said coldly, "If I say you can't do it, then you can't do it. Now, I'll show you what a real sword splitting the underworld is." As soon as he made his first move, his second move followed. Sword cry of the Yin Mountains and sword rends the Yellow Springs could be used together, and the power would be even more terrifying. Een Mountain cracked open. The terrifying yellow spring gushed out from the Een Mountain and condensed into a terrifying sword energy. It instantly destroyed Hei Yi Wuzuan's sword shadow. Then it collided with Hai Wuzuan. Dark Knight Wuzuan's defensive magic treasure was activated, but it could only ensure that he didn't die. He was sent flying, and Feng Yin looked at Hai Wuzuan nervously. He did not wish for Hai Wuzuan to die again. Don't worry, Feng Yin. Since it's not a battle of life and death, I won't go all out. I'm just using the second style's mastery. His injuries aren't serious, so he'll recover soon. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Right now, he was not thinking about revenge, but about becoming stronger. Therefore, there was no need to deliberately provoke the Dark Ones. He wanted to give them some face and ease the tension. What he needed to do next was to participate in the Ox Deity Maze. He wanted to win the Ox Deity Beast Soul and become a disciple of the Arcana Academy. And Feng Yin, I've defeated all the challengers. Hai Wuzuan is no match for me. Does that mean I've won the right to participate in the Ox Deity Maze? Ling Xiao looked at Feng Yin proudly and asked. He had defeated Hai Wuzuan and the others with his own strength. He did not rely on the Divine Codex or Ling Yan. Therefore, some of the Dark Ones' hatred for him had lessened. Some of them even worshipped him. After all, being strong was the way to go. And Feng Yin was silent for a long time. He wanted to go back on his word, but he was afraid of the Divine Codex's strength. He had to keep his promise. He sighed and said, "Fine, I'll leave the second spot to you." 20 days later, the Chun Kingdom's royal family will send the 13th prince to supervise the competition. The 13th prince is a top talent, a true genius. He's also a disciple of the Arcana Academy. You need to control your temper in front of him. Everything will be based on the victory of the Ox Deity Maze. Is that all right? Don't worry. As long as he doesn't provoke me, I won't provoke him. Otherwise, don't blame me for destroying the Qin Kingdom. Ling Xiao said this to show that the Divine Codex could appear at any time. Otherwise, why would he be so arrogant? And Feng Yin heard this and felt helpless. Yes, with that woman's strength, she could do whatever she wanted in the western regions, let alone the Qin Kingdom. Forget it. Why should he care so much? As long as that woman did not come to the Eight Immortals Mountain to cause trouble, he would thank the heavens. Let's go. And Feng Yin felt a little tired at the moment. No matter how clever a plan was, it seemed so small and useless in the face of absolute power. Even if he did everything he could, he would still lose in the face of such a strong opponent. Ling Xiao did not stay in the square for long. He directly brought his friends to the Moon Clan. The Moon Clan had withstood the test of the previous battle. Even if the entire clan was imprisoned, they still risked their lives to protect Ling Jiaojiao. Ling Xiao was very touched by this. Therefore, he planned to let Qing Wanhua, Lin Yang, and the others join the Moon Clan. This way, he would have less to worry about. The Moon Clan had lost a lot of people in the previous battle and needed new people to join. Of course, they were very welcome. Ling Xiao had never been to the Moon Clan before. This was his first time. When he stood in the Moon Clan's main hall, his expression became absent-minded. This was because he discovered that there was a jade statue in the middle of the Moon Clan's main hall. This statue looked very similar to his elder sister, the Moon Maiden. Could it be the same person? Ling Xiao could not help but think. Then he asked the Moon Clan's elder about this. The Moon Clan's elder told him that about a few thousand years ago, a woman passed by this place. She stayed on the Eight Immortals Mountain for several months and taught the Eight Immortals some martial arts. She also founded the Moon Clan. The first ancestor of the Moon Clan was this woman's disciple. Although she was called a disciple, she was only taught a few moves. But just those few moves had already benefited the entire Moon Clan immensely. Did that person call herself the Moon Maiden? Ling Xiao could not help but ask. Yes, Could it be that little brother Ling knows her? The Moon Clan's elder asked in surprise. Indeed, we met before reincarnating. She can be considered the love of my life. Ling Xiao sighed and said, It's a pity that she had to reincarnate to save me. The reason why I cultivate so hard is to see her again as soon as possible. When he spoke, his emotions were naturally revealed. The Moon Clan's elder did not believe it, but he could feel it from his sincere feelings. Chapter 2510. Perhaps this is fate. Her Highness Moon Maiden created the Moon Clan, and you saved the Moon Clan. The Moon Clan elder sighed. It's not saving. After all, this is what I owe you. For my sister Jiao Jiao, you have done a lot. All right, I came this time not only to thank you in person and send my friends to the Moon Clan, but also to give you some gifts. Ling Xiao said with a smile, Little brother Ling, there's no need to be so polite. We promised Dark Night Formless, so we naturally have to do it. There's no need to thank us at all. The Moon Clan elder hurriedly refused. Clan elder, don't be in such a hurry to refuse. Let's see what it is. Ling Xiao smiled and took out 2 gourds. Then he said, Inside this red gourd is a pill called Yin-Yang Origin Energy Pill. It's a middle mystic grade pill. Because it's a perfect grade pill, its effect is comparable to a high mystic grade pill. I believe that even in the entire country of Qin, it's hard to find a pill of this grade. This pill is very useful for Yin-Yang realm martial artists to increase their cultivation and recover their origin energy. You have to use it well. I hope that the Moon Clan will become the strongest clan in the 8 Immortal Mountain. When Ling Xiao spoke, the Moon Clan elder, and the Moon Clan elder all stared at him. How could they not know how hard it was to find a perfect grade, high mystic grade pill? Even if you had money, you wouldn't be able to buy it. Ling Xiao actually gave them this gourd. This gourd wasn't small. It could hold hundreds of pills without a problem. There's a total of 500 pills in the gourd. Use it sparingly. This green gourd contains healing pills that I made myself. As long as you're not dead, you can slowly recover after eating it. If you use it with origin energy, the effect will be even better. I know that because of my sister, a large number of Moon Clan disciples were injured. Some are even unconscious. But don't worry, these pills will definitely cure them. Hearing this, the Moon Clan elder stood up. My daughter Moon Death is the #1 genius of the Moon Clan, but she was heavily injured by Lin Yuetian. Now she's unconscious. Medicine Master said that she might never wake up. Is this healing pill effective as well? Of course, but to be on the safe side, I'll go and take a look myself. When Ling Xiao heard that Moon Death was caused by his sister, he didn't dare to be negligent. That was how he was. If someone treated him well, he would treat them 10 times better. If others were to scheme against him, he would not be polite either. Moon Death lay on the hospital bed. Although her mind was very clear, her body was not listening to her. She could sense everyone around her, but she could not open her eyes. She could hear her parents' painful cries and screams. She wanted to comfort them, but she couldn't. She felt as if her body had been imprisoned and she couldn't move at all. At this moment, an unfamiliar aura suddenly appeared in the room. Who? She tried to use her soul force to investigate this person's appearance, but there was nothing he could do. This person's soul was so strong that it was unfathomable. It was even stronger than her parents. Who was this person? He must be an old senior expert. Just as she was thinking, this person's hand grabbed her wrist. Then a warm current was released from his hand and entered her body. She felt very comfortable. Ever since she was injured, she had never felt this way. Don't worry, Lord Patriarch. Your daughter was only imprisoned by Lin Yuetian's secret technique. She's fine. Ling Zhao's voice sounded. Moon Death was very surprised, because this voice sounded so young. He must be an old senior who likes to stay young. Moon Death thought in her heart. because this was the only explanation for this person's confidence. Lin Yuetan said that unless we beg him to let Moon Death become his concubine, he will only help Moon Death heal. He also said that only he and his father can cure this kind of injury. No one else can. The Moon Clan patriarch couldn't help but say, it's reasonable for him to say that. This kind of imprisonment came from the dragon cult. His father Lin Quan is a member of the dragon cult. Naturally, he would know how to do it. He must have learned it from his father. However, I can only treat his confidence as ignorance. Ling Xiao sneered. Then he stuffed a pill into Moon Death's mouth. Then his soul power entered Moon Death's spirit ocean. There was a black, demonic dragon hiding in there. This was the origin of all the dragon cult's secret techniques. Moon Death could see all of this. She saw a young man destroy the demonic dragon with one palm. Then she felt much more relaxed. Miss Moon Death, you can open your eyes now, Ling Xiao said with a smile. In fact, there were thousands of secret techniques in this world that couldn't be performed without formations. Ling Xiao was a master of spirit designs and array formations. He had his own special means to break any secret technique. Lin Yuetian was indeed a frog at the bottom of a well. He didn't understand at all. Moon Death tried to open her eyes. Although it was a little difficult to open her eyes for a long time, she still managed to open them slowly. She saw a handsome young man standing in front of her. Although his face was still a little immature, he was full of confidence and dignity. After opening her eyes, she could move her hands and feet. She hurriedly got up and bowed. Moon Death thanks Senior for saving my life. Senior? Ling Xiao was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled and said, you and I are both martial artists who have entered the reincarnation realm. I don't dare to call myself your senior. My name is Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao. You are Ling Xiao. Yu Shang felt like he couldn't wrap his head around this. In the past, she had heard some rumors about Ling Xiao. However, she had never seen this person with her own eyes, nor was she interested in seeing him, because she always felt that Ling Xiao was the kind of person who liked to cause trouble. Sooner or later, he would be killed. However, today, Ling Xiao actually appeared in front of her and saved her from an unconscious state. Thinking back to the past, her pretty face couldn't help but turn red. Look at our Moon Death. She's blushing. Seeing that his daughter had woken up, the Moon Clan leader was in a good mood. Young Hero Ling, why don't we go to the side hall and have some food and wine? I have to thank you properly. No problem. Ling Xiao nodded. He didn't want to reject such good intentions. After all, this was the clan that had tried their best to protect his sister. Can my daughter join too? Moon Death couldn't help but ask. Is your body okay? The Moon Clan leader asked. Don't worry, father. I've never felt better. Even my cultivation seems to be improving. Moon Death smiled. That's normal. Just now, I destroyed the energy that Lin Yuetian injected into your body. That energy now belongs to you. Your cultivation will break through in a day or two, Ling Xiao said with a smile. Chapter 2511. Halfway through the wine, Moon Death suddenly said seriously, Brother Ling, I heard from my father that you need to become stronger as soon as possible to save the Moon Maiden, and the Ox God Beast Soul in the Ox God Maze must be obtained. I will help you. Hearing this, Ling Xiao couldn't help but be stunned. Miss Moon Death, are you sure? With the Ox God Beast Soul, you can directly become a disciple of the Arcana Academy. Are you really going to give up? Moon Death smiled and said, Actually, it's not that I want to give up because I know I can't get it. In this battle for the Ox God Maze, other than the 8 Immortal Mountain and the Heavenly Wind Group, the Duke of Yu will also participate. I've asked around, and among the participants there are martial artists at the 6th level of the Yin-Yang transformation stage. Not only our 8 Immortal Mountain, but the other 2 factions also have them. The final battle will very likely be between them. Since I don't have a chance, I might as well help Brother Ling. You should know that the Moon Maiden is the founder of our Moon Clan, and you are also my savior." After hearing Moon Death's words, Ling Xiao sighed in his heart. In the sect, there were shameless people like Dark Knight, Dark Flower, and Jian Kuan. Naturally, there were also people like Dark Knight and the Moon Clan who were loyal and righteous. Ling Xiao's luck was not bad. Although he had offended many people, he had also met many people. "Miss Moon, I naturally can't take all the benefits for myself. I believe Sister Ruoxian will make the same choice as you. So I only want the ox god beast soul, and the rest will belong to the two of you. I, Ling Xiao, am a man of my words." He didn't ask Lin Ruoxian, but he already knew what Lin Ruoxian's choice would be. Young Hero Ling is a true friend, but you must not think too simply of this matter. Even if the three of you work together, it will be very difficult to obtain the ox god beast soul. The Moon Clan leader suddenly frowned. "I am willing to listen to the Lord Clan leader's teachings." Ling Xiao cupped his hands and said, "I wouldn't dare to say that I'm teaching you, but I'm still the clan leader of the Moon Clan, so I do know some inside information. Everything else aside, in the Eek Immortals Mountain, you might meet a strong enemy like Lin Yuetian. Lin Yuetian's cultivation was at the 6th level of hell. The three of you together are no match for him." Seeing that Ling Xiao didn't respond, the Moon Clan leader continued, "There is another person in the Heavenly Wind group who is as powerful as Lin Yuetian. His name is Chunbei Xian. Just like you, he's also a rare beast warrior and has a 1-star yin-yang state beast soul at the peak of the 6th level of hell. In terms of strength, he might be slightly stronger than Lin Yuetian." "Interesting," Ling Xiao said with a smile. "Interesting." The clan leader of the Yu clan wondered if he had heard wrongly. Surprisingly, Ling Xiao wasn't afraid. Instead, he said that it was interesting. Lin Yuetian was a late-stage yin-yang state martial artist at the 6th level of hell. I've heard that there are plenty of martial artists at this level in the Chen Kingdom. If you can't reach this level before the age of 20, you can't even be considered a genius." Ling Xiao cracked a smile and said, "There are still 20 days before the Ox God Maze. No one can predict what will happen during this time. Just like 11 days ago, I fell into the Demon Sea. Who would have thought that I would come back alive and reach the early stage of the 5th level of hell?" "That's true. However, with the help of the former sect Master Ling Yan, you will have a better chance." The clan leader of the Yu clan still didn't think it was a good idea. After all, miracles were called miracles because they were rare. Ling Xiao was able to create a miracle last time, but he might not be able to do so in the next 20 days. With Ling Yan's help, the clan leader would have a better chance. Ling Yan has gone to the Imperial City. The Imperial City is his world. With his cultivation, it's a waste of time for him to stay in the 8 Immortal City. Ling Xiao said. "What?" Hearing this, the clan leader of the Yu clan suddenly stood up with an ugly expression. "Clan leader, what's wrong?" Ling Xiao asked curiously. The clan leader of the Yu clan hesitated whether to tell Ling Xiao. "Clan leader, if you're my friend, just tell me. No matter what, I, Ling Xiao, can handle it." Ling Xiao said, "Young Hero Ling, do you know why Sect Master Ling Yan was defeated so easily and was labeled as a traitor, forcing him to reincarnate?" The clan leader of the Yu clan asked. "Wasn't it because Lin Quan was greedy for power and wanted the position of Sect Master?" Ling Xiao froze for a moment. He had always thought that this was the case. That was one of the reasons, but the real reason was that Sect Master Ling Yan had a blood feud with the Qin Kingdom's royal family. Lin Quan accidentally discovered it and told the royal family, resulting in that tragedy. The clan leader sighed and said, "At that time I was also roped in. Although I didn't do anything, I learned some secrets. It turned out that Sect Master Ling Yan's father was a rank 1 military marquis of the Qin Kingdom. Because he was powerful, he fought bravely, and his military achievements were illustrious. In the many battles with the neighboring volcano kingdom, it was this marquis who served as the commander-in-chief. He displayed the might of the Chun kingdom, scaring the volcano kingdom so much that they didn't dare to invade the borders for many years. But, young hero Ling, you also know that if one's military achievements are too great, the royal family will fear them. This was especially true if one encountered a narrow-minded king. That would be even more troublesome. This was what it meant when one's achievements overshadowed their masters. Although this military marquis had chosen to retreat in the face of adversity, he had wanted to withdraw from the imperial court to protect himself. But he didn't expect that his retreat would instead help the enemy to become even more vicious. The Chun clan had thousands of people, and almost all of them were convicted of treason. Among them, hundreds of the main culprits were all beheaded. The remaining men were exiled, and the women became prostitutes for officials. It was simply tragic to the extreme. This young master Ling only escaped because he was cultivating outside. Later on, he changed his name and went to the Eight Immortals County City, becoming the sect master of the Eight Immortals Mountain. It was all for the sake of avenging the thousands of people of the Chun clan one day. He actually had such a deep blood feud, and he didn't tell me. Ling Xiao asked in shock. It was the first time he had heard of such a thing. He probably didn't say it for your own good. With your strength, you can't help at all. But, young hero Ling, you are a person who values friendship and righteousness. You definitely wouldn't ignore such a matter. So it's impossible for him to tell you. The clan leader analyzed. Then, according to your judgment, he went back to take revenge? Ling Xiao asked. Even if it's not revenge, it's too dangerous. Under the eyes of the enemy, this is simply asking a tiger for its skin. The clan leader said. Ling Xiao suddenly felt a little anxious. But with Ling Yan's cultivation, he was not even worth a fart in the imperial city. What could he do? The only thing he could do now was to hope that Ling Yan would not be impulsive. After all, when Wang Juling family was exterminated, Ling Yan was still young. Those enemies might not be able to recognize him. After some disguise, he could still get away with it. Thank you for telling me this, clan leader of the Yu clan. I'm afraid I have to leave first. Chapter 2512. Young hero Ling, are you really going to the royal capital? The Moon clan leader was anxious. No, with my strength, I'll just be a burden to him. What I need to do now is continue to improve my strength. With Ling Yan's talent and intelligence, even if he can't take revenge, he'll definitely survive. I believe in him. Ling Xiao said with a smile. That's good. The Chun Kingdom's royal family is extremely powerful. With the Arcana Academy behind them, they're like a tiger with wings. I'm afraid that apart from the dragon cult, there's no one else who can contend with them. Of course, if that woman, your master, is willing to help, then it'll be great. The clan leader of the Moon clan sighed. Revenge can't be left to others. That's not revenge. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, I know Ling Yan's temper too well. If he wanted to borrow the hands of others, he would have mentioned it long ago. At that time, my master hadn't left yet. That's true. Young hero Ling, be careful. Although the Eight Immortals Mountain is currently afraid of you, it's not that bad. Apart from some lunatics who want to secretly deal with you. I know that. I'm not interested in killing them now. But if they don't know what's good for them, then don't blame me. I understand. Ling Xiao snorted and said, My master is not to be trifled with. I, Ling Xiao, am not to be trifled with either. I'll leave first. I'll have to trouble you to protect my friends. Before leaving the Moon Clan, Ling Xiao didn't forget to set up the formation of his courtyard outside of the Moon Clan. After what happened last time, Ling Xiao knew very well that no matter how powerful the Moon Clan was, they couldn't fight against the alliance of the other 7 clans. And, with these formations, things would be much easier. After leaving the Moon Clan, Ling Xiao didn't return to his courtyard. He was still a little confused about how to improve his strength. He had Beast Soul transformation cards now, but they weren't complete and strong enough. Especially the steel-armored Ox Beast Soul, the Tyrannosaurus Blood Dragon Beast Soul, and the Black Wolf General Beast Soul couldn't keep up with his cultivation. Only the black-striped Flying Tiger Beast Soul could increase his combat strength the most. As for the other three, they would at most require a special ability. There was also the Advanced Thunder Battle Body and the Advanced Lava Battle Body. At his current level of cultivation, he could only provide some lightning power and lava power to slightly increase his attack and defense. Other than strengthening, the effects were not that great. He urgently needed to upgrade his lightning combat body and lava combat body. In that case, even if his cultivation did not break through, his battle prowess would skyrocket. Of course, there was also cultivation and martial skills. There was the Dark Shadow martial arts. As long as he continued to fight and temper himself, he would naturally be able to improve. As for his cultivation, he had to think of some special methods. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to raise it quickly in a short period of time. Regardless of whether it was beast souls, cultivation, or battle constitution, he would have to go to the 8 Immortals City. The Heavenly Dragon Trading Company had a lot of good stuff, and he had a good relationship with the shopkeeper there. Let's try our luck. Thinking of this, he directly left the 8 Immortals Mountain. Coincidentally, in the 8 Immortals County, outside the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company, he met a few acquaintances. Dark Underworld and Dark Knight No Zun seemed to have recovered from their wounds. They must have used some very good healing medicine. There were also Jian Lufeng and Jian Tianqin from the Sword Clan. Jian Tianqin was stronger than Jian Lufeng. He was Jian Liufeng's elder brother. The two of them naturally hated Ling Xiao to the core. There were also Sha Feiyue and Sha Menglong from the Sand Clan, Shi Yanran from the Snake Clan, Toriyama Akira from the Bird Clan, Kong Yu from the Sky Clan, Zhan Hai from the Zhen Clan, Lin Teng from the Sect Leaders Hall. There were a total of 10 people. Except for Dark Knight No Zun, all of them were going to participate in the Ox Deity Maze Battle. There were a total of 14 people in the 8 Immortals Mountain. Among them, only Lin Yuetian, Lin Ruoxian, and Moon Death did not appear. Including Ling Xiao, 11 people were here. Ling Xiao glanced at them, cupped his hands, smiled, and then walked toward the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. Although there were a few people who had a deep grudge against him, there were also some whom he had never met before. He had to be polite and cupped his hands in greeting. It was human nature to be polite. Ling Xiao, have you heard that the royal family increased the number of participants by 1? And I can still participate in the Ox Deity Maze Battle. You didn't expect that, right? Dark Knight No Zun suddenly said loudly. Ling Xiao did not expect this. But what did it have to do with him? Whether Dark Knight No Zun participated or not would not affect him at all. If there was any impact, it would only bite could cause a little trouble. Oh, then I have to congratulate you. Ling Xiao said lightly and continued to walk forward. Damn it! Seeing Ling Xiao enter the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company, Jian Lufeng gritted his teeth and hated him to the core. One should know that his bride was snatched away on the day of his wedding. Although he did not really want to marry Ling Jiaojiao. He just wanted the saber sword Shenhuang martial spirit. But even so, it was a great humiliation. Lufeng, this is the downtown area. If we fight, it won't do us any good. The Heavenly Dragon Trading Company is not to be trifled with. Jian Tianqin stopped Jian Lufeng. As the elder brother, he was stronger than his younger brother. Of course, Jian Lufeng had to listen to his words. But elder brother, this guy is too hateful. Not only did he snatch my bride, but he also killed our sword clan. There are so many people in our clan. The woman behind him even killed our clan elder. It makes our sword clan's current position very awkward. Jian Lufeng said angrily, "Don't worry. If we don't touch him now, there'll be plenty of opportunities to kill him in the Ox Deity Maze battle. Can't bear it? There are only 20 days left." Jian Tianqin hated Ling Xiao. The clan elder in his family was his biological grandfather, but he knew that he needed to bear it now. There was another person who also knew how to bear it. That was in Ming. It seemed like the Dark World woman did not have much enmity with Ling Xiao. She was not the daughter of a night walker, nor the daughter of an Hua. She was just an adopted daughter of an Fengyan. If there was a grudge, it would be that an Fengyun's martial Dao heart was destroyed. Now he no longer had the past. He was high-spirited and full of fighting spirit. But in reality, one had to know that the 8 magic treasures of the 8 great clans were definitely used by the strongest geniuses. In this battle of the Ox Deity Maze, the magic treasures of the other clans were used by the geniuses of their respective clans. The Dark Clan's Shadow Black Gourd was supposed to be hers. It had been decided long ago. Moreover, and Ming had specially prepared for many years to be able to use the Shadow Black Gourd better. She had been waiting for more than 10 years for the battle for the ownership of the 8 Immortals County. However, Ling Xiao's appearance changed everything. All her efforts were in vain. How could she not be angry? However, this guy was more tolerant than she had imagined. He did not show any dissatisfaction or anger. There was only a calm look in his eyes and a hidden killing intent in his heart. He was completely different from Hai Wuzuan. Chapter 25:13. Let's go. We still have important matters to attend to. Among these people, Jian Tianqin and Ming were the strongest. Therefore, Jian Tianqin gradually became the leader of their party. Therefore, Jian Tianqin called out, and the rest of the people entered the Heavenly Dragon trading firm one after another. Of course, it was different when Lin Yuetian was there. Lin Yuetian was the young sect master with terrifying strength. Naturally, he was the most dazzling person wherever he went. These people did not come to find trouble with Ling Xiao. This meeting was just an accident. They came to the Heavenly Dragon trading firm to buy things. When they entered the Heavenly Dragon trading firm, they saw that Ling Xiao was personally received by the Heavenly Dragon trading firm's shopkeeper. This made them even more jealous, especially those who had a grudge against Ling Xiao. They could not wait to kill Ling Xiao on the spot. What did Ling Xiao do? How could he get the help of such a powerful woman? How could he be treated so well by the Heavenly Dragon trading firm? They were not convinced. But what could they do? It was meaningless. They could only be jealous in their hearts. The series of events that followed caused their anger to reach its peak. Ling Xiao, as a VIP customer, bought a large number of herbs from the Heavenly Dragon trading firm. Many of these herbs were what these geniuses needed. "I can't take it anymore." Jian Lufeng was trembling. He could not suppress the anger in his heart when he saw Ling Xiao. "I can't take it anymore. This kid can get such good treatment because he has a good master. Otherwise, what is he?" Hai Wuzuan was also furious. He had forgotten that he had just lost to Ling Xiao in the arena. If Ling Xiao was nothing, then what was his loss to Ling Xiao? "Brother Tianqin, we can't deal with him openly. Can't we deal with him secretly? I heard that there are assassins from the Dark God Palace in the 8 Immortals County. The assassins may not know that Ling Xiao has a powerful backer. Moreover, even if they know, they may not be afraid. After all, assassins are everywhere. The Dark God Palace was very mysterious, and no one knew where their headquarters was. No matter how strong the enemy is, they might not be afraid." Jian Lufeng suddenly lowered his voice. "That's a good idea. Since I can't buy medicinal herbs, I'll use these spirit stones to hire assassins." Jian Tianqin and the others all agreed. Of course, there were a few people who were fence-sitters. They didn't dare to disagree. Otherwise, they would be the next target of this group of people. Naturally, Ling Xiao didn't know what these people were planning. He bought what he needed and was lucky enough to obtain a brand new beast soul from the Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm. A 1-star Yin-Yang Realm 7th level beast soul, Jade Rabbit. The special skill of the Jadeite Rabbit transformation was Jadeite Idol. This special skill allowed Ling Xiao to transform into a jade statue. His defense would be greatly increased, and he would be immune to all physical damage from Yin-Yang Realm cultivators. But they couldn't attack. They could use it until their inner strength was exhausted. This was a life-saving skill. Moreover, the Jade Rabbit transformation could be used up to the 7th level of Hell. To Ling Xiao, this was another increase in his combat strength. The shopkeeper of the Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm also told Ling Xiao about the cultivation of the Peak Lightning Battle Body and the Peak Lava Battle Body. It was said that a special condition had to be met before the cultivation could continue. However, the shopkeeper didn't know what the special condition was. Although he was a little disappointed, Ling Xiao was already very satisfied with the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul and the large amount of medicinal herbs that could increase his cultivation. After leaving the Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm, he went straight to the 8 Immortal Mountain. In his opinion, the mystery of the cultivation of battle bodies might be more suitable at the 8 Immortal Mountain than at the Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm. On the way, Ling Xiao integrated the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul into the Rabbit God position. This process didn't take too long, but it could increase Ling Xiao's combat strength by several times. To Ling Xiao, this was a great help. The most amazing thing was that when the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul was integrated into the deity position, Ling Xiao's cultivation also increased to a certain extent. He was still 30% away from the middle stage of the Yin-Yang Realm's 5th level of Hell. Of course, this couldn't be rushed. Therefore, he had to continue to fight steadily and surely. After leaving the 8 Immortals County, on this familiar road, Ling Xiao couldn't help but think of the first time he met Lin Ruoxian. At that time, he had just arrived at the 8 Immortals County. Compared to today, his strength was like heaven and earth. However, he still achieved great success today. Thinking of this, he was more confident that he could continue to improve. Suddenly, he felt a dangerous sharpness. Ling Xiao believed that no one in the 8 Immortals County had a stronger soul power than him. No one could be more sensitive to danger than him. When this sharpness suddenly stabbed out from the darkness, Ling Xiao had already turned into a wolf and fled. Of course, fleeing was not the end. It was only the beginning. He suddenly transformed and entered the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul state. With a stomp, his terrifying jumping power was simply astonishing. In the blink of an eye, he was already beside the assassin. When the assassin's attack failed, he wanted to escape. However, he didn't expect Ling Xiao to be so fast and have such a terrifying reaction. When he felt a large hand choking his neck and then fiercely pressing him to the ground, he knew it. He knew that he was done for. He cursed those damned employers who didn't tell him about this person's terrifying strength. He was just an assassin who came to the 8 Immortals County to play. He didn't expect to lose his life because of this rash attack. He wanted to bite the poison sac hidden in his mouth and commit suicide. However, it was already too late. Four-leaf demonic eyes, soul catcher. Ling Xiao didn't even bother to interrogate and directly used soul catcher to obtain information. Humph, Jian Lufeng, you really have guts. You actually dared to hire an assassin to kill me. If you want to hire an assassin, you should hire a stronger one. You actually hired such a trash. Unhappy. What made Ling Xiao unhappy was not that Jian Lufeng wanted to hire an assassin to kill him. It would be strange if Jian Lufeng didn't want him to die. What made him unhappy was that the opponent was too weak and couldn't test his new ability at all. Four-leaf demonic eyes, soul catcher. Ling Xiao glanced at the assassin and used soul catcher. At that moment, he clearly felt that all the attributes of his body had improved. Although the improvement was very small, it was very obvious to him. Of course, the most wonderful thing was the improvement of his cultivation. Interesting. This soul catcher can actually be used to improve cultivation. I guess the more powerful the opponent, the more useful it is. Ling Xiao had been worrying about how to improve his cultivation in a short period of time. Now it could be solved smoothly. Tai Chi Ice Search. Chapter 25:14. On the way to the 8 Immortal Mountain, Jian Tianchen and the other 11 people were walking up the mountain leisurely, enjoying the scenery while hurrying on their way. Suddenly, the ground collapsed. Before they could react, all of them fell into the smelly mud pit. For a moment, both the elegant young men and the elegant young ladies became mud figurines. The stench from their bodies attracted the surrounding dung beetles. Everyone tried to fly out of the mud pit, but they suddenly found that their feet seemed to be caught by something. It was so difficult that they could not get out. Oh no, this is not an ordinary mud pit. It's a formation. The knowledgeable Kong Yu said in shock. Among these people, he knew more about formations, so he could discover it quickly. TSK, not bad. There are still people who can react. In the void, a figure gradually appeared with a sneer on his face. Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do, you bastard? Jian Lufeng said angrily. He wanted to get out of the mud pit, but it seemed that he could not succeed. The rest of the people also had sullen looks on their faces. Clearly, they were very unhappy, and Ming's face was gloomy to the extreme. Even if a person could endure it, there was a limit. Once the limit was exceeded, it would naturally be unbearable. What am I trying to do? Then I'll have to ask you guys first. Who was it that hired such a trash to assassinate me? Ling Xiao said coldly, I didn't kill you. I'm just looking at the big picture. Don't be ungrateful. By the way, the dung in your mouth tastes good. Do you want me to let you have a few more mouthfuls? He sneered and waved his hand. A strange mud monster appeared in the mud pit. Its body was soft and looked very disgusting. Ling Xiao, don't go too far. You humiliated us like this. Do you think we won't dare to kill you? Hai Wuzuan roared. At this time he was furious. His beloved woman, and Ming, loved cleanliness the most. But now she was covered in a stench. For a woman who loved cleanliness, it was too unpleasant. I went too far? Didn't you think you went too far when you hired someone to assassinate me? Ling Xiao sneered and gave the sludge monster an order. The sludge monster pounced on them. Those people tried their best to resist, but the sludge monsters were scattered, and a large amount of muddy water once again drenched those people. However, at this time, Kong Yu, who was unwilling to be humiliated, took out his own magic treasure, spatial blue treasure book. Then a strange light flashed, and those people were all out of the area controlled by Ling Xiao's formation. Hey, what a magical treasure! As expected of the sky race's treasure. Even I feel a bit envious just looking at it. Ling Xiao saw that everyone had exited the array formation, but he did not care. In any case, it was impossible for these people to kill him with their strength. Ling Xiao, today is the day you die. After escaping from the array formation, Jian Lufeng was no longer able to suppress the rage in his heart. He roared, wanting to kill Ling Xiao. Lufeng, don't worry. Once again, he was stopped by Jian Tianchen. Big brother, this kid is too infuriating. We are the top geniuses of 8 Immortal City. How can we be humiliated by this trash? Without that woman, without Ling Yan, he is nothing. Jian Lufeng roared. I know, I don't want to stop you this time. There is a limit to a person's patience. This Ling Xiao is only at the early stage of 5th level of Hell of Yinyang Realm. It was an accident that he could defeat Hai Wuzuan. If it wasn't for someone protecting him, he would have died long ago. He is just a despicable person who relies on a woman to survive. If I can't do anything after being humiliated by him, I would rather die. Our 8 Immortals Mountain's pride cannot be tarnished. Our dignity as warriors cannot be humiliated like this. Jian Tianchen originally did not want to deal with Ling Xiao outside because he was afraid of Ling Yan and the woman behind Ling Xiao. However, when he saw Ling Xiao's smug and insufferably arrogant look, he could not stand it anymore. He was really someone who knew how to liven up the atmosphere. When he shouted those words, everyone else felt their blood boiling. As for the consequences of this battle, they no longer cared. Now, they only wanted to kill Ling Xiao. There were 11 of them. The weakest among them was at the middle stage of 5th level of Hell of Yinyang Realm. The strongest was at the peak of 5th level of Hell. How could these 11 people not be able to kill a piece of trash who was only at the early stage of 5th level of Hell of Yinyang Realm? Brother Tianqin is right. Think about it. How did this piece of trash Ling Xiao humiliate our 8 Immortals Mountain? He ordered his woman to kill the Sword Tribe Elder right in front of you, and he killed your loved ones. If we don't even dare to touch him, how can we face our dead family members? How can we face our own martial arts? This dog who used to wag its tail everywhere is now riding on our heads. You can tolerate it, but I can't. And Ming also exploded. The anger that had accumulated in her heart completely exploded. Her black hair stood on end. Everyone knows how to shout slogans. I'm waiting for you to attack. Ling Xiao stood there like a villain. He coldly waved at the 11 hot-blooded youths with a look of disdain. Damn, what's going on? Aren't they the 11 top geniuses of the 8 Immortals Mountain? And Ming, Jian Tianqin. Damn, there's also Kong Yu. Who are they joining forces to deal with? Although there were few people here, there were still some herb gatherers and martial artists passing by. Coincidentally, a small group of martial artists who were returning to the 8 Immortal City after completing a mission in the mountain passed by. When they saw this shocking scene, they could not help but exclaim, I don't know that kid. Is he a devil from some place? Ling Xiao's reputation was greater within the 8 Immortal Mountain. Almost everyone knew about him. However, there were very few people outside the 8 Immortal Mountain who knew about him. Even the live broadcast of Ling Xiao resolving the calamity in the 8 Immortal City had been deliberately erased by some people. People were quite forgetful. Ling Xiao gradually became a nobody from a hero. Perhaps the ones who truly remembered him were those inexperienced children. Ling Xiao looked coldly at Jian Tianqin and the others. These people were filled with righteous indignation and their blood was boiling. He really felt that he should turn into a basin of cold water and pour it over them to wake them up. If you don't attack, I'll go first. Ling Xiao sneered. His body turned into a wolf's shadow and pierced through the air. The wolf walks 1,000 miles, wolf pack attack. Lightning wolf. The wolf pack attack was the 3rd move, and the lightning wolf was the 5th move. When Ling Xiao was fighting at the bottom of the Devil Sea, he had honed the wolf walks 1,000 miles a lot. After all, there were many demonic beasts there. If he did not want to be injured, it was extremely important. Now he had cultivated the wolf walks 1,000 miles to the 7th move. And all 7 moves had been cultivated to the martial art stage. Chapter 25:15. The last 2 moves of 1,000-Mile Wolf were more difficult to comprehend. But Ling Xiao had already grasped some tricks. He believed that it should not take too long. Using Wolf Pack Assault and Lightning Wolf at the same time, the effect was excellent. 11 wolf shadows darted out. In mid-air, the black wolf shadows suddenly turned into lightning wolves wrapped in lightning, pouncing at the 11 people with extreme speed. Among them, several people with weak cultivation were directly hit by this lightning wolf. Lightning flashed on their bodies, and they directly fell to the ground. Black smoke coming out of their mouths. Ha 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 ha, a bunch of trash, actually vainly trying to kill me. I only used movement technique and made you all such a fool. Let me tell you, in the Ox Deity Maze, if anyone dares to make a move against me, I absolutely will not show mercy. Killing one is also killing. Killing a group is also killing. Ling Xiao revealed his true body and laughed crazily. Facing Ling Xiao's increasingly proud appearance the 11 geniuses were really angered until they wanted to vomit blood. They were just preparing to take out their magic treasures and fight to the death with Ling Xiao when suddenly a figure appeared in their midst. Enough! There are still 20 days to participate in the Ox Deity Maze Contest. You all actually still have the mood to fight among yourselves here. The one who appeared here was none other than precisely the Vice Hall Master of the Reward and Punish Evil Hall, the Sword Race's doyen Jian Ruchao. Although Jian Ruchao also hated Ling Xiao to the bone, he was a smart person after all. He did not stand on any side, only standing in the middle to show his fairness. Seeing Jian Ruchao, Ling Xiao could not help smiling. This person would not be hot-blooded like those few idiots. He belonged to the crafty sort. Therefore, today's battle probably had no way of continuing. Originally, he still wanted to continue using these few people to properly practice his movement technique. Jian Ruchao, aren't you ashamed? You were here long ago. Why only come out now? Did you see that those trash could not beat me, so you came out to rescue me? Ling Xiao's words did not give Jian Ruchao any face. He actually detected Jian Ruchao's arrival long ago. It was just that Jian Ruchao, this old thing, probably still wanted to see him make a fool of himself. He had been hiding in the dark and did not come out. Jian Ruchao did not expect that his thoughts would be seen through by Ling Xiao. For a moment, he had the urge to silence Ling Xiao. However, an old fox was an old fox. In the end, he held himself back. He said indifferently, "The situation isn't clear yet. That's why this hall master didn't appear. It wasn't until I saw them use their artifacts that I realized that you guys were really going to fight to the death. Now that I've come out to stop them, there shouldn't be a problem, right?" Haha, old fox, you really know how to talk. Forget it, whatever you say. I'm going back first. I won't be playing with you guys anymore. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Deputy Hall Master, you have to uphold justice for us. This Ling Xiao actually set up a formation to humiliate us. If it wasn't for Kong Yu using his magic treasure, we would still be struggling in the mud. Seeing that Ling Xiao was about to leave, Hai Wuzuan grew anxious. That's right, Uncle Ruchao. This Ling Xiao's mouth is full of shit. Not only did he humiliate us, but he also humiliated the elders of 8 Immortal Mountain. Jian Lufeng was really good at adding oil to the fire. He continued very agitatedly. This guy relied on his powerful master and didn't put 8 Immortal Mountain in his eyes at all. He even said that the dead elders were trash. It's simply unbearable. The reason why we want to take action is also because of this. Jian Ruchao actually knew that Jian Lufeng was adding oil to the fire. Because he had arrived long ago, he was still clear about what Ling Xiao said. However, he naturally wouldn't expose Jian Liufeng's lies. Instead, he looked coldly at Ling Xiao and said, "Even ants have dignity. There are some things that you shouldn't do too much. Relying on the fact that you have someone behind you, you cause trouble everywhere. People like you'll die sooner or later, and it will be very ugly. Haha, I might die, but I will definitely die after you guys. Anyway, you trash won't be able to see it." Ling Xiao sneered. Since the other party was afraid of the divine codex, why not make use of it? Sullen days weren't good. Now that we commoners are the masters, we should still be rampant. Jian Ruchao had never been treated like this by a junior before. A terrifying killing intent erupted from his heart. There was even a moment when he thought that even if he had to offend that terrifying woman, he would still want to tear Ling Xiao into pieces. Vice Hall Master, you want to kill me, right? I'm right here. Hurry up and take action. Ling Xiao had a look of disdain because he knew that Jian Ruchao wouldn't dare to take action. This old fellow, not many young people have the guts to do so. Don't dare to take action? If you don't dare to take action, then don't fart. Let me tell you, Jian Ruchao, don't think that just because my master left temporarily, you guys can gang up to bully me again. If you push me too far, I will make 8 Immortal Mountain disappear from the map. Ling Xiao coldly snorted, turned around, and flew away. Jian Ruchao anxiously looked at Ling Xiao leaving, but he didn't dare to chase after him, nor did he dare to take action. Ling Xiao was right, he was afraid. Recalling how terrifying that woman was, he felt that he couldn't even move his body. He might not be afraid of death, but if he offended that woman, he wouldn't be the only one to die, but the entire sword tribe. Uncle Ruchao, do you really want to continue to let this rascal ride on your head and shit on you? Jian Lufeng roared. The others were so angry that they almost vomited blood. Looking at the miserable looks of these top geniuses, Jian Ruchao's nearly extinguished killing intent reignited once again. Don't worry, you guys cultivate steadily and wait for the day when the Ox God Maze opens. As for that Ling Xiao, leave him to me. Jian Ruchao finally made up his mind. Next, he would discuss with Jian Kuan to create a place where that woman wouldn't be able to find and hide everyone from the sword tribe. This way, after killing Ling Xiao, they could all hide. They wouldn't have to be afraid of that woman's revenge. Let's go back. Since Jian Ruchao had decided to deal with Ling Xiao, he calmed down instead. Holy *T, so that demon is actually Ling Xiao from the 8 Immortals Mountain. When did this guy become so powerful? After the people of 8 Immortal Mountain left, the group of martial artists who had been hiding in the dark finally came out. One of them couldn't help but say, "That's right. I heard that the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company is going to set up a genius list for all the geniuses who will participate in the Ox God Maze. This list will be used for people to bet on. When we see this, we have to go back and tell the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. Ling Xiao's name can't be missing from the genius ranking." Yes. I heard that the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company will reward us with useful information. Let's go. The group of martial artists returned to the 8 Immortal County and told the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company what they had seen. Therefore, the genius list changed on the same day. It was ranked according to the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. The most powerful person was the number 1 genius of the Heavenly Wind Group. Chapter 25:16. The third on the genius list was Xiaofeng Wan Yue from the Duke Yu's residence. She was a girl. The 3 of them were all at level 6 of Hell in Yinyang Realm. They were far behind the rest of the geniuses. The 4th was Chan Xianfeng from the Heavenly Wind Group. But today it was Ling Xiao, who was not even in the top 30. It caused a lot of discussion. What was different from the genius ranking was that there was an odds ranking. The higher the ranking, the more likely it was to win the mythical ox beast soul. The betting list was similar to the genius list, but there was an exception. Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was 4th on the genius list, but he was last on the betting list. There were a total of 45 people from the 3 forces, and he was the 45th. There was a reason why the betting odds were so low. The news that Ling Xiao had offended almost all the geniuses in 8 Immortal Mountain had spread. Almost everyone thought that Ling Xiao was dead for sure, so his odds were naturally extremely low. Since he was destined to die, it was impossible for him to win. It was easy to imagine why his odds were so low. Of course, Ling Xiao was not interested in the ranking list at all. Even though he had heard about it, he was still indifferent. After returning to 8 Immortal Mountain, Ling Xiao hid in his courtyard and began to cultivate. He spent 5 days to master the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul to the point where he could use it. Due to the difference in cultivation, he could not fully unleash the power of the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul, but at least he was not unfamiliar with it. He also knew how to use the Jade statue, like the back of his hand. As for his cultivation, because of his familiarity with the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul and the large number of elixirs he had refined, he finally broke through to the middle stage of level 5 of Hell in Yinyang Realm. This speed was actually very fast. If he did not have a fortuitous encounter, this speed would be abnormal. But Ling Xiao could not be satisfied. His cultivation was not fast enough, so he had to work hard on the top combat constitution. In the end, he used up the remaining Thunder Elemental Jade and Lava Elemental Jade, but he still could not upgrade his combat constitution. This gave him a headache. Left with no choice, he could only give up on cultivating and go out to try his luck. The last time he went to the 8 Immortals County, he was able to get a Jade Rabbit Beast Soul. If he was lucky this time, he might be able to find a way to cultivate a top combat body. In any case, the 8 Immortals Mountain didn't have a cultivation method for a top-notch battle constitution. He could only try his luck outside. As soon as he stepped out of the courtyard, he saw Jian Ruchao standing there, as if he had been waiting for a long time. What? Vice Hull Master wants to deal with me here? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Are you looking for a way to cultivate a top constitution? Jian Ruchao ignored Ling Xiao's sarcasm and asked, You investigated me? Ling Xiao's voice became cold and sinister. Is there even a need to investigate? I am the Vice Hall Master of the Hall of Good and Evil. I naturally know that you are looking for this item in the inner hall. Now let me ask you, do you want this cultivation method? Jian Ruchao asked. Of course. Ling Xiao nodded and said, I have been to the Heavenly Wind Society and was lucky enough to find such a record in their library. Unfortunately, I couldn't read it because their people were nearby. If you have the guts, why don't you go and have a look? Jian Ruchao said lightly. Do you think I am stupid? The library of the Heavenly Wind Society? Why would I go there? Ling Xiao immediately noticed Jian Ruchao's scheme. This is not a scheme, it is an open one. I want to use the Heavenly Wind Society to kill you. Of course, if you don't go, you will not be able to learn the cultivation method and cultivate a top-level combat body. Jian Ruchao sneered. Good, amazing, really amazing. Ling Xiao looked at Jian Ruchao. He was sure that Jian Ruchao was telling the truth. The Heavenly Wind Society did have such a thing. However, if he went there, he would be dead meat. Chun Changsheng, the leader of the Heavenly Wind Society, had a grudge against him and was extremely powerful. Chun Beixian alone was not someone he could deal with. However, Jian Ruchao still didn't know his true strength. He cracked a smile and said, Thank you for your reminder. I will go and have a look. After he finished speaking, he tore through the air and left without any hesitation. Idiot! Jian Ruchao watched Ling Xiao leave and sneered in his mind. He then chased after Chun Changsheng. However, halfway through, he disguised himself and put on the Tianfeng Group's martial artist's uniform. Jian Ruchao's plan was not complicated. He knew that the simpler the plan, the less likely it would be for him to make a mistake. What he needed to do was to kill Ling Xiao in the Heavenly Wind Society's territory. He wanted to blame the Heavenly Wind Society for Ling Xiao's death. After all, the head deacon of the 8 Immortals County was the son of Chun Changsheng, the leader of the Heavenly Wind Society. In this way, the Heavenly Wind Society would have a good reason to kill Ling Xiao. This plan not only killed 2 birds with 1 stone, but also saved him a lot of trouble. However, what was more unfortunate was that Jian Ruchao had calculated everything but misjudged 1 point, and that was Ling Xiao's strength. Since Ling Xiao dared to attack the Heavenly Wind Society alone, how could he be weak? Jian Ruchao's plan was perfect, but in the face of strength it was worthless. Come out. Do you think I can't guess what you are thinking? When he reached the Heavenly Wind Society's territory, Ling Xiao suddenly stopped. He looked coldly at the bush not far behind him and said, Didn't you follow me from the 8 Immortals Mountain to here to kill me? Let's not beat around the bush. If you want to kill me, let's do it quickly. After I finish you, I plan to go to the Heavenly Wind Society. There was no movement from the bush. Ling Xiao sneered. With a wave of his hand, a shadow all pierced through the air. It tore through the bush and hit something, causing a loud boom. A person was forced out of the bush. What is this move? Why have I never seen it before? The person who was forced out was Jian Ruchao. At this moment, Jian Ruchao's face was very ugly. He wanted to sneak attack Ling Xiao from behind. This way, he would have a higher chance of winning. Although he looked down on Ling Xiao, he did not want to be careless. However, he did not expect to be found out so quickly. Moreover, Ling Xiao's move was so strange and powerful. He had never seen it before. Didn't you always want to know my real identity? I can tell you now. Ling Xiao looked at Jian Ruchao with contempt and said, "You are right. I am the #1 genius of the White Tiger continent, Ling Xiao." You. Jian Ruchao's face changed. Ling Xiao dared to admit his real identity in front of him. This meant that he was going to kill him. Jian Ruchao's heart was in his mouth. He was very worried. You can guess what I want to do, right? I have always told you not to provoke me, because I will not let anyone who provokes me go. You could have lived. People say that even ants drag out their lives, but you came to die. You can't blame me. Chapter 25:17. Oh, right. There's another secret you don't know. Shen Dian isn't my master, and she has already gone to Golden Heavenly Nation. She can't possibly come back to help me. You guys were scared by someone who doesn't exist. What a joke. Ling Xiao mocked. You despicable guy. How dare you treat us like idiots? Jian Ruchao's face was filled with anger. He thought of so many people from 8 Immortal Mountain who were stronger than Ling Xiao, but they were all scared to the point of kneeling and begging for mercy. He couldn't wait to skin this guy alive. Yeah, who asked you to be idiots? Ling Xiao shrugged. I'll kill you. Jian Ruchao was enraged. He instantly forgot about his fear and erupted with a terrifying aura. Sure enough, you're at the peak of 5th level of hell. Looks like it's going to be fun today. Ling Xiao knew very well that if he couldn't even deal with Jian Ruchao, it would be even more troublesome if he encountered Jian Tianqin and Sha Feiyue, who had magic treasures. Those two had the same cultivation as Jian Ruchao, but they had magic treasures of divine grade. Their combat strength would definitely be much stronger. Jian Ruchao, let's use this as a practice. It just so happened that his cultivation breakthrough was slow recently. He could use this guided practice and see if he could break through the shackles of his cultivation. Jian Ruchao's aura continued to rise. A sharp, long sword appeared in his hand. It was a white long sword that looked like it was carved out of white jade. It was actually an immortal grade spiritual weapon that was second only to divine grade spiritual weapons. Ling Xiao always felt that the black immortal sword was too eye-catching. Since it was a trump card, he couldn't use it all the time. The black immortal sword could be used as one of his trump cards to deal with stronger enemies. The white jade flying dragon sword in Jian Ruchao's hand was the best weapon at the moment. It could be used frequently and wouldn't break as easily as the mortal grade spiritual weapons he bought. Ling Xiao, since the day you passed the test of the 8 Immortals Mountain, I have hated you very much. You've caused trouble in our sword tribe twice. There are simply too many members of the sword clan who have been killed by you and have died because of you. Even the clan elder of my sword clan was killed by your woman. If I can't kill you, when will my sword tribe be able to take revenge? Jian Ruchao roared while condensing a powerful move. He hated Ling Xiao to the core. In today's battle, he swore that he would make sure that not even Ling Xiao's bones remained. Firmament sword print. Kill. His cultivation was at the peak of Yin-Yang Realm Level 5 of the First Revolution, coupled with the immortal grade spirit artifact sword in his hand. The attack power of Sword Tide was incomparably powerful. The roaring sword seal smashed the surrounding trees into smithereens, and even the boulders collapsed. As expected of the Vice Hall Master of the Hall of bestowing kindness and punishing evil. His strength is not to be underestimated. It's a pity that you shouldn't have chosen to kill me now. If you had done it 10 days earlier, you might have succeeded easily. Ling Xiao sneered and transformed into the Jade Rabbit. An emerald green armor that looked like jade covered his entire body. Rabbits were supposed to be cute, but cute had nothing to do with Ling Xiao. Hence, when Ling Xiao transformed into his body, he became extremely domineering. From the outer appearance, one couldn't see any resemblance between him and a rabbit. Jade God statue. Ling Xiao was clearly using Jian Ru Chao as a test target. He wanted to see if the Jade God statue could really achieve a perfect defense against the attack of an expert of this level. As the curse seal was released, at this moment, Ling Xiao was like a god statue carved out of jade. However, the surface of the god statue shone with a dazzling emerald light. At this moment, Jian Ru Chao's attack had arrived. Boom! A huge explosion sounded on the surface of the jade god statue. However, Jian Ru Chao was shocked. His sword couldn't achieve anything. Even the surface of the jade god statue didn't have any trace of damage. Instead, his huge sword seal shattered on the spot. What the hell is this? Jian Ru Chao's expression changed as he continued to attack. Terrifying sword light stabbed the jade god statue, one after another. However, every time he stabbed, it was to no avail. He began to panic. At this time, Ling Xiao could feel that his internal force continued to decline. However, the speed of decline was not as fast as he had imagined. It was much more efficient than his attack. It seemed that this jade god statue was really a life-saving special skill. Since the move had been tested, he didn't want to waste any more time. He suddenly withdrew the jade god statue and stabbed out. The sword light flashed and collided with Jian Ru Chao's crazy attack. This time, Jian Ru Chao was sent flying more than 10 steps away. Impossible. This is impossible. If his previous attack was ineffective, it could be explained that Ling Xiao had some magic weapon on him. However, the power of Ling Xiao's sword attack was comparable to her attack. This was absolutely impossible. Deputy Hallmaster, you seem to be very surprised. In fact, you don't need to be surprised. I dared to wait for you here and dared to tell the truth about those things. Naturally, I can defeat you. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently and took out 2 long swords at the same time. These are my last 2 mortal grade spiritual swords. You've probably heard that when I was in the White Tiger mainland, I was best at dual wielding. With 2 swords, I can perform 2 moves at the same time. Today, I'll let you die with a clear understanding. I'm very merciful. Since I'm letting you die, I'll let you die with a clear understanding. With 2 swords in hand, Ling Xiao's aura began to rise. His cultivation at the middle stage of the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm in the first transformation was fully unleashed. In addition to the enhancement of the Jade Rabbit Beast Soul, the enhancement of the Royal Heaven Earth power. Right now, his true strength was definitely not inferior to Jian Ru Chao's. In the following battle, who would win and who would lose would depend entirely on the strength of battle techniques and martial arts techniques. Humph, you only blocked a casual attack of mine. Do you really think you can compete with me, the Deputy Hall Master of the Hall of Good and Evil? You're just an ant that climbed up from the bottom. No matter how high an ant climbs, he's still an ant. He can't become an eagle. Jian Ru Chao snorted coldly. Although he was extremely shocked and even a little flustered, he knew that he would not be able to escape today. However, he knew that he probably wouldn't be able to escape today. Since Ling Xiao dared to wait for him here, it meant that he had already set up a formation to prevent him from escaping. The only thing he could do was to kill Ling Xiao here and then escape unscathed. Haha, you think you're an eagle. In fact, you're just a frog at the bottom of a well. Ling Xiao sneered. A powerful aura began to accumulate on the 2 swords. Do you know the power of the first 2 moves of the shadow martial arts at the same time? If cultivated to the martial arts realm, it won't be inferior to any inferior top-tier jade grade martial arts technique. So what if it's not inferior? Mine is a genuine top-tier jade grade martial arts technique. How are you going to fight with me? Chapter 2518. Roar. A dragon's roar resounded. Top jade grade martial skill, flying dragon sword seal. This top jade grade martial skill is just a low grade martial skill. It is similar to the Dark Tribe's Dark Shadow Assault. Ling Xiao had seen this skill used by Hai Wuzuan before. However, Hai Wuzuan's skill was only at the small success stage, while Jian Ruchao had mastered it. Not only that, Jian Ruchao's cultivation is also one small stage higher than Hai Wuzuan. Therefore, the power of this skill is very strong. It is 10 times stronger than Hai Wuzuan's skill. But so what? When Ling Xiao fought against Hai Wuzuan, he did not use his beast soul transformation. Now that he has transformed, his combat power is also 10 times stronger than when he did not transform. Moreover, he is fighting as Ling Xiao today. Naturally, he will not be afraid of exposing his identity. Both swords attacked at the same time. Sword Cry Een Mountain and Sword Rend Underworld exploded at the same time. This is not a continuous attack like last time. They are attacking at the same time. Their power is not the same as before. Attacking at the same time, the power is definitely stronger than 2 skills combined. When the terrifying sword light turned into sword shadows and attacked Jian Ruchao, Jian Ruchao's face became filled with fear. Why? Why is he so strong? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He roared. He cannot believe what is happening in front of him. He wants to fight. He wants to kill Ling Xiao. He believes that all of this is just an illusion. He believes that all of this is fake and Ling Xiao is just bluffing. You can't see the strength of both sides. How sad, Deputy Hall Master. Ling Xiao looked at Jian Ruchao coldly. Both swords had already stabbed out. The terrifying sword intent destroyed Jian Ruchao's flying dragon sword seal. The flying dragon let out a mournful howl in the air. Immediately after, Jian Ruchao's body was hit. Dozens of sword holes appeared on his body. He fell to the ground and looked like he was about to die. Ling Xiao coldly threw away the last 2 broken swords in his hand. He walked to Jian Ruchao's side and took the white jade flying dragon sword from Jian Ruchao's hand. A good sword. It's a pity that it's in the hands of someone who doesn't know how to use it. What a shame. Ling Xiao stored the white jade flying dragon sword into his storage ring. Then he coldly grabbed Sword Tide. 4-leaf demonic eyes, soul catcher. He was too lazy to question Jian Ruchao because he didn't know when Jian Ruchao would die. So he simply used the method of soul searching to obtain the information he wanted. It would consume some soul power, but that wasn't a problem. It seems that this guy wasn't lying. The Heavenly Wind Society's library does contain the secrets of top constitutions. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao was secretly delighted. Then he looked at Jian Ruchao and said, I'm about to die. I'll let you replenish my cultivation. 4-leaf demonic pupils, soul reaping. Although soul-seizing soul didn't absorb the opponent's cultivation, it only absorbed the opponent's quality. Strength, speed, intelligence, perception, etc. However, this was the most important thing. These basic qualities were what cultivation required the most. Even if Ling Xiao wasn't a divine-grade genius, as long as he persevered, he would become a true divine-grade genius sooner or later. Moreover, after soul-reaping soul absorbed these things, his cultivation would naturally increase slightly. This might have something to do with the strengthening of his body and soul. It was hard to say, but now, Ling Xiao's cultivation had indeed increased by nearly 80% from the middle stage of the 5th layer of hell. In other words, with another 20% he could break through again. This might have something to do with Jian Ruchao's cultivation. After all, Jian Ruchao was a martial artist at the peak of the 5th layer of hell. After taking Jian Ruchao's storage ring and burning his corpse, Ling Xiao made some changes. He had the ability of the Yin-Yang Demon King, which allowed him to change his appearance and body into any form. However, he didn't like to use it under normal circumstances. This kind of transformation was just a trick. If he used it too much, it would delay his own cultivation. After all, if he had to transform and hide whenever he encountered danger, how could he train? How could he train? That was only one of the problems. However, he wasn't a stubborn person. When it was time to use it, he would use it. This time it came in handy. After Ling Xiao transformed, he didn't get discovered until he sneaked into the library of the Heavenly Wind Group. However, the moment he stepped into the library of the Heavenly Wind Group, trouble came. Such a place was usually protected by an array formation. Although Ling Xiao had transformed into a martial artist of the Heavenly Wind Group, the array recognized him and sounded the alarm. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows, but he didn't stop. He found the book according to Jian Ruchao's memory. Then he broke through the window. By then, the martial artists of the Heavenly Wind Group had already surrounded the library. Interestingly, the leader of the Heavenly Wind Group was on his way to meet the 13th prince. The most powerful disciple of the Heavenly Wind Group, Qin Beixian, was cultivating in seclusion. No one could stop Ling Xiao from escaping. If Ling Xiao fought to the death, he might be caught. However, he didn't want to do that. Using the shadow step, he escaped the encirclement and took the book with him. Although the Heavenly Wind Group was so angry that they almost vomited blood, there was nothing they could do. They didn't know who did it. Ling Xiao didn't reveal his identity as a disciple of the Eight Immortal Mountain, nor did he reveal the martial arts he had been cultivating since he came to the Black Tortoise mainland. To the Heavenly Wind Group, this would probably become an eternal shame and secret. Of course, Ling Xiao couldn't care less. After he got the book, he returned to the Eight Immortal Mountain and started to study it. According to the book, once the combat body reached a high level, it would be useless to use elemental jade to upgrade it. At this point, he needed to find a new and more powerful material to break through the bottleneck. This material was the jade marrow. In order to upgrade the thunder combat body to the highest level, other than the thunder elemental jade, he also needed a thunder jade marrow. The same went for the lava combat body. According to the book, Ling Xiao had already merged all the thunder elemental jade and lava elemental jade he needed. Now, he only needed a jade marrow to solve the problem. However, where could he find a jade marrow? Ling Xiao thought of the people from the Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm. The Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm had business in the entire mystic world. They should have a jade marrow. As such, Ling Xiao hurriedly left the courtyard and prepared to ask the Heavenly Dragon Trading Firm. However, when he arrived at the courtyard, he saw the Sword Tribe leader, Jian Kuan, Jian Lufeng, Jian Tianqin, and the others standing there. He was stunned for a moment before he smiled. He knew why these people were looking for him. However, he still asked, "Why are you looking for me? Where's Uncle Ruchao?" Jian Lufeng asked anxiously. "Oh, you can ask him. He tried to kill me outside, but he was killed by my master. The white jade flying dragon's sword can testify." Chapter 2519. By the way, my master said that he would only kill Jian Ruchao this time since you've been obedient. However, if there's a next time, the Sword Tribe will be annihilated. Ling Xiao did not hide the fact that he had killed Jian Ruchao. Even if he did not admit it, the Sword Tribe would still blame it on him. However, he did not say that he was the one who killed Jian Ruchao. Instead, he said that Jian Ruchao was killed by his master. After saying that, he tore through the air and left. Jian Kuan stood there, his body trembling constantly. It was fear. It was anger. It was uneasiness. Father, Uncle Ruchao was also killed. Are we just going to sit here and wait for death? Jian Lufeng felt that he was going crazy. In the past, before Ling Xiao set foot on the Eight Immortal Mountain, he was in high spirits. He was insufferably arrogant, but now he was so cowardly. Of course, we can't sit here and wait for death. However, do you have any good ideas? Jian Kuan asked coldly. Father, I have a good idea. Jian Tianqin said, Coldly, we still have a few Earth demon assassins. Although they are not as elite as the previous one, they can still be used to spy on others. As long as we figure out what Ling Xiao is going to do and kill him outside, even if his master comes looking for trouble, he won't be able to find us. Those Earth demon assassins are our sword tribe's only trump card. The reason why we haven't been stripped of our title of the 8 great families despite losing our elders is because of them. Jian Kuan frowned and hesitated. It's just spying. We won't lose anything. As long as the Earth demon assassins don't attack, no one in this world can find them, Jian Tianqin said. Jian Kuan hesitated for a moment and then nodded. Looking at the direction Ling Xiao went, he should be going to the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. Send the Earth demon assassins to find out where he's going and what he's going to do. Yes. After arriving at the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company, Ling Xiao told the shopkeeper his request. The shopkeeper pondered for a moment and said, "Since you mentioned the chalcedony, I do know a place that might have it." "Where?" Ling Xiao asked anxiously. The shopkeeper said, "About 30 li away from the 8 Immortal City, there is a crater called the Heavenly Thunder Crater. A piece of Heavenly Thunder Jade Essence had once appeared in this Heavenly Thunder Pit, as well as a large amount of lightning elemental jade. Basically, all the Thunder Yuan jades used by your 8 Immortals Mountain are bought from here." "Purchase? Isn't the Heavenly Lightning Pit an ownerless land?" Ling Xiao asked curiously. "Of course not. The owner of the Heavenly Lightning Pit is the 13th Prince of the Qin Nation. However, the person currently managing the Heavenly Lightning Pit for the 13th Prince is the Duke of Yu." The shopkeeper replied, "A total of 3 pieces of Heavenly Thunder chalcedony appeared in the Heavenly Thunder Pit. One of them was used by the 13th Prince, and the other was used by the Duke of Yu's granddaughter, Xiaofeng Wanyue. Finally, there was one more piece. Because it was located in the center of the Heavenly Lightning Pit, no one could approach it, so it was still there. The Duke of Yu had once said that whoever could retrieve that item would be accepted as his last disciple. If someone was not willing to become his disciple, he would also bestow upon that person a top-tier jade grade martial technique. Haha, how generous. However, it seems that this Heavenly Thunder chalcedony is truly very precious." Ling Xiao said with a smile. "Of course, a piece of Heavenly Thunder chalcedony is very likely to forge a top-tier lightning battle body that is equivalent to a top-tier jade grade body tempering martial technique," the shopkeeper said. "All right. Many thanks, shopkeeper. It seems that I will have to make a trip to this place." Ling Xiao stood up and said, "When you go, it would be best to find a few helpers. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome. The Duke of Yu places great importance on this Heavenly Lightning Pit. After all, it is the property of the 13th Prince. Naturally, he will send a large number of troops to guard it. The cultivators in the outer area are fine. You can deal with them alone. However, it is more troublesome near the Heavenly Lightning Pit. It is said that Xiaofeng Wanyue is cultivating there. Once she discovers you with your strength, escaping might not be a problem. However, if you want to obtain the Heavenly Thunder chalcedony, it will be extremely difficult. But I am puzzled. Since the Duke of Yu and the 13th Prince cannot obtain it, why can't they let others have a try?" Ling Xiao was speechless. Haha, these people are like this. Even if they don't need their own things, they will definitely not give it to others. The shopkeeper said with a smile, "All right. Thank you, shopkeeper. These are the yin and yang pills that I have recently refined. I will sell them to your firm. They are all of perfect quality. They are equivalent to a high-grade, profound grade elixir." The reason why Ling Xiao had such a good relationship with the Heavenly Dragon firm was not because they liked each other. The main reason was that Ling Xiao was able to take out enough items to satisfy the Heavenly Dragon firm. Many thanks for young hero Ling's trust. One must know that they could get 30% of the profit from a single elixir. Of course, this was only a small profit. The key was that in the 8 Immortal City, no other firm sold this kind of elixir. It was equivalent to a monopoly. In order to be able to buy this kind of elixir, many people would constantly patronize the Heavenly Dragon firm, bringing them a lot of business. The benefits of this were huge. It's just a small token. Ling Xiao waved his hand and did not mind. To him, this was just a small token. It was the leftover yin and yang pills that he had given to the Yu clan. Since young hero Ling treats our Heavenly Dragon firm so well, we naturally have to do our best to help. How about this? Here is a map of the vicinity of the Heavenly Lightning Pit. Because of business, a small town has formed near the Heavenly Lightning Pit. Almost all of the people in this town are businessmen and coolies of the Duke of Yu. If you really want to successfully obtain the Heavenly Lightning Jade Essence, it's best that you stay in this Heavenly Lightning Town and figure out the situation before making a move. This map was a good thing. In the mystic world, the terrain was very complicated. Without a map, one might not be able to walk out of a forest in their lifetime. A martial artist's need for a map was much higher than their need for healing medicine. For the Heavenly Dragon firm to give such a map, it was really generous. Ling Xiao took the map and found that there were military deployments near the Heavenly Lightning Pit. The weakest martial artist in the periphery was at the first level of the Yin-Yang realm. The strongest was at the peak of the 4th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Within 100 meters of the Heavenly Lightning Pit, there were 10 martial artists at the peak of the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm guarding it. The most troublesome was actually Xiaofeng Waning Moon. Her cultivation was at the 6th level of the Yin-Yang realm. She was the most difficult to deal with. However, since he had already decided to obtain the Heavenly Lightning Jade Essence, Ling Xiao naturally would not give up. He returned to the 8 Immortals Mountain and gathered Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death in the name of cultivating together. These two were at the peak of the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Chapter 25-20. The Lin Ruoxian had the Snake Clan's treasure. The Moon Death had the Moon Clan's treasure. Their actual battle prowess was much stronger than a martial artist at the peak of the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Ling Xiao did not have to worry about their safety. They could help Ling Xiao a lot. As long as they did not encounter Xiaofeng Wanyue or the other first transformation stage 6 Hell warriors from the Dukyu Mansion, there would be no problem. After a discussion, the three of them set off immediately. It was only a few dozen miles away. It would not take long for them to arrive. Almost at the same time, in the Sword Tribe's main hall. Clan leader, we have investigated the Earth Demon Assassins. Ling Xiao went to the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company to look for the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony. He will be going to the Sky Thunder Pit next. Jian Tianqin said to Jian Kuan, "Very good. Secretly leak this information to the Sand Tribe. Our Sword Tribe can't take any more trouble. Let the Sand Tribe deal with Ling Xiao." Jian Kuan said after pondering for a while, "Yes." Jian Tianqin agreed with this idea. The Sand Tribe's hatred for Ling Xiao was no less than the Sword Tribe's. After all, the Sand Tribe had lost more people because of Ling Xiao. After a while in the Sand Tribe, "What? Is that true?" Sha Tongtian asked with a gloomy face. "Yes. The Sword Tribe used the Earth Demon Assassins to spy on Ling Xiao's whereabouts. However, they did not dare to act rashly. They are a bunch of cowards." Qi Lian said emotionally. She had heard the news from outside. Of course, the Sword Tribe had purposely leaked the news to her. It was just that she did not know about it. The Sword Tribe was really scared out of their wits by that kid's master. What a bunch of cowards. However, we have to seize this opportunity. If that kid goes to the Sky Thunder Pit, he will first have to deal with the Dukyu Mansion. We can definitely benefit from it. Sha Tongtian sneered. "What do you think? Do you dare to go with me?" "Of course." Qi Lian nodded. My 2 daughters and Sha Lin were killed by that kid. This hatred is absolutely irreconcilable. Good. Pack up and set off immediately. Sha Tongtian said, Not long ago, the 13th prince gave me an item. With it, I can definitely kill Ling Xiao with ease. Qi Lian said excitedly. That's right. How could I forget? Back then, when the Wang Juling family rebelled, it was you who tipped off the 13th prince. After that, there was a series of events. You have contributed greatly to him. Sha Tongtian said happily, It just so happens that the 13th prince is coming to the 8 Immortals County this time. Even if we can't kill that kid, the 13th prince will definitely help us. That's right. The two of them packed up and rushed towards the direction of Sky Thunder Town. He watched as Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian left. Jian Kuin's eyes revealed a hint of coldness. This time, he had deliberately let someone leak the news to Qi Lian. To be honest, he was not certain that Qi Lian and Sha Tongtian could kill Ling Xiao. But with Ling Xiao's personality, if he didn't die, he would definitely kill these two people. And Qi Lian and the 13th prince had a close relationship. It was said that they had once had sex. It was Qi Lian who taught the 13th prince his first taste of the forbidden fruit. That person also took great care of Qi Lian. Almost every time he came to the 8 Immortals County, he would have a secret talk with Qi Lian. As for what they talked about, others did not know, but Jian Kuin knew. This was because he had accidentally bumped into it once. Fortunately, he was not discovered. If Qi Lian died, the 13th prince would definitely hate Ling Xiao. At the very least, he would loathe him. In addition, the Sky Thunder Pit was the 13th prince's property. Ling Xiao wanted to steal the Sky Thunder Chalcedony, which would infuriate the 13th prince. In this way, Ling Xiao would definitely become a thorn in the 13th prince's side. The 13th prince did not know that Ling Xiao had a powerful master behind him and would definitely kill him ruthlessly. At that time, Ling Xiao would still not be able to escape death. Therefore, regardless of the outcome of Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian's assassination, he had already achieved his goal. Although Ling Xiao was happy to kill Jian Ruchao, there was nothing to be proud of. Just in the 8 Immortals County's younger generation, there were 3 first transformation yin-yang realm martial artists at the 6th level of hell. He could ignore anyone at the 5th level of hell, but it would still be very troublesome if he encountered those 3 people. In this way, the Sky Thunder Chalcedony became the key. The Sky Thunder Chalcedony would bring him a top-notch lightning battle physique and a great increase in cultivation. Therefore, he had to obtain this item. In about half an hour, Ling Xiao had already arrived at Sky Thunder Town. This town was really very small, even smaller than Yuhua Town. It was originally a town formed because of the mining work in the Sky Thunder Pit. The Sky Thunder Pit not only had the Sky Thunder Chalcedony and Thunder Elemental Jade, but also a large amount of Thunder Spirit Stones. Although the quality was not very good, it could still be converted into a large amount of Thunder Elemental Energy. It was very important to use it to support the puppet's battle or the operation of the mechanisms. Look, the Sky Thunder Pit is in front. It is very easy to recognize. Yu Shang pointed at a huge pit that was about 1 mile away. Above the huge pit, lightning constantly flashed, and one could see it clearly from afar. It is indeed easy to recognize. I can feel that there is a Thunder Crystal Stone that is even stronger than the Thunder Elemental Jade in the huge pit. It should be the legendary Sky Thunder Chalcedony. Ling Xiao could not help but feel excited. This information was actually the first clue he got from his enemy, Jian Ruchao. He wondered if Jian Ruchao would be so angry that he would stomp his feet in the underworld. However, that guy's days of anger were still to come. As long as he obtained the Sky Thunder Chalcedony and cultivated the top-notch lightning battle physique, Jian Ruchao would really go crazy. Ling Xiao, are we just going to barge in like this? That place is extremely heavily guarded. Lin Ruashian reminded. Sister Ruashian, you don't have to worry. With our strength, as long as we don't encounter Xiaofeng Canua, the Sky Thunder Pit's defense is nothing. Moreover, didn't the Dookie residents say that the Sky Thunder Chalcedony will belong to whoever has the ability to retrieve it? We can just walk in openly. The trouble is actually what happens after we obtain the Sky Thunder Chalcedony. Ling Xiao smiled and continued to walk forward. Although the people of Sky Thunder Town were curious when they saw the three strangers, no one dared to look for trouble. The three of them were basically invincible in this place. It could even be said that in the entire 8 Immortal City, if the three of them joined forces, it would be extremely rare to find someone who could defeat them. They smoothly arrived at the Sky Thunder Pit and explained their purpose. A young warrior walked out. This person was called Xiaofeng Kenyang, Xiaofeng Sanyue's brother. His cultivation was not weak, having reached the peak of Yin Yang Realm Level 5. It could be said that he was almost as strong as the top geniuses of the 8 Immortals Mountain, excluding Lin Yuetian. Chapter 25-21. Which one of you wants to take the Heavenly Thunder Jade Essence? Dawn Wind, Kenyang, coldly asked the three of them. Me. Ling Xiao said. Good, then you come with me. The other two will wait outside. Dawn Wind Kenyang looked at the three of them arrogantly, as if he was ordering them around. However, they were strong, and this was their territory. It was normal for them to dare to do so. That won't do. What if your Duke Yu's mansion wants to harm me? Ling Xiao shook his head. Humph, you should be Ling Xiao. We already knew about you the moment you entered Sky Thunder Town. We have long heard that you like to hide behind women. Looks like the rumors are true. Dawn Wind Kenyang coldly snorted. I have the final say here. You can either scram or go in alone. Cut the crap. Do you really have the final say? Ling Xiao faintly smiled. If the 13th Prince or the Duke of Yu knew that you let go of the only cultivator who can take out the Heavenly Thunder Jade Essence, what would they do? You think too highly of yourself. So many people can't take out the Heavenly Thunder Jade Essence. What makes you think you can do it? Dawn Wind Kenyang disdainfully said. Just based on this. Ling Xiao suddenly threw out a refining array stone. In an instant, Dawn Wind Kenyang and the nearby guards were all trapped in a fire snake. The fire snake spat out flames. It was extremely realistic. What are you trying to do? Dawn Wind Kenyang was startled. Don't be nervous. I just want to tell you that I am a master of arrays. The reason why you can't take out the Heavenly Thunder Jade Essence is because you don't dare to resist the lightning at the core. But if it's me, I can use an array to lure it away. Ling Xiao put away the refining array stone and lightly said, How about it? Do you want the Duke of Yu to personally come, or do you want to let us in? Humph, so what if I let you in? The three of you can't do anything anyway. Dawn Wind Kenyang was well aware of the 13th Prince's temper and his desire to obtain the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony. If he really let Ling Xiao leave and this guy went to the 13th Prince to complain, he would be in trouble. In any case, the security here was tight. The three of them could not play any tricks. One had to know that there were 10 First Revolution Yin Yang Realm 5th level Hell Peak experts guarding the Heavenly Lightning Pit. If he really couldn't do it, he could ask Xiaofeng Waning Moon, who was cultivating in the Heavenly Lightning Pit, for help. With just these 3 people trying to escape, as such, Ling Xiao, Lin Ruashian, and Moon Death followed Daybreak Kenyang into the lightning pit. On the way, Ling Xiao arranged the next plan through soul transmission. Sister Ruashian, Moon Death, you two wait outside the Heaven Lightning Pit. After I obtain the Heaven Lightning Chalcedony, we will fight our way out. If Dawn Wind Waning Moon appears, the 2 of you will help me stall those 10 people. I have a way to trap that woman. Can you do it? No problem. Lin Ruashian and Moon Death both replied. Among the 10 First Revolution Yin-Yang Realm 5th level Hell Peak experts, the strongest was actually Dawnwind Kinyang. It was obvious that the other 10 people had relied on external forces to reach this level. Their cultivation was uncertain, and it would be good if they could reach the late stage of the 5th Revolution Yin-Yang Realm. With Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death's strength and the magic treasures in their hands, it was more than enough to stall them. Okay, then let's follow the plan. The plan was not complicated, so it was easy to execute. There was no need to discuss it in detail. Do you see that? That is the Heaven Lightning Chalcedony. You can go through this path. Don't wander around and disturb my sister's cultivation. She has a bad temper and will kill you. Don't blame me for not warning you. Dawnwind Kinyang pointed out a path that had already been opened. This path was at least 40 to 50 meters away from the core area. There were no lightning attacks. Therefore, Ling Xiao walked very easily. Dawnwind Kinyang followed, closely behind him, as though he was on guard against Ling Xiao. Outside the maze, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were surrounded by the 10 martial artists from the Duke of Yu family. They were not going to attack, but they were stunned by the beauty of the two women. If I am not mistaken, you two must be Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death from the snake race of the 8 Immortal Mountain, right? In fact, he had not guessed it, but someone had reported it to him. That's right, Lin Ruoxian answered lightly. I wonder which side do you think will emerge victorious in the Ox Deity's maze contest this time? These old men were shameless and were obviously trying to find a topic to talk about. The 8 Immortal Mountain, of course. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death answered at the same time. Is it because of Lin Yuetian? Lin Yuetian is indeed powerful, but Chen Beixian from the Tianfeng group and Lady Xiaofeng from the Duke of Yu family would not lose to Lin Yuetian. At the end of the day, this competition is between the three of them. Aren't the two of you too full of yourselves? Hearing Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death's answer, the 10 martial artists were clearly displeased. Don't forget, the 4th on the Genius Leaderboard is also a martial artist from the 8 Immortal Mountain, Ling Xiao. Lin Ruoxian said proudly. I don't know about Lin Yuetian, but Ling Xiao will definitely surprise you. Ha 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 ha, the one who just went in must be Ling Xiao. I think he will be lucky to come out alive, let alone win the maze of the Ox God. Dream on. The 10 martial artists burst into laughter. Moon Death wanted to cut the 10 martial artists' necks in half. However, Lin Ruoxian stopped her and said, Don't do it. Ling Xiao hasn't done it yet. However, Lin Ruoxian didn't want to do it, but the 10 martial artists didn't. Since the two of you are here, why don't you have some fun with us? One of the martial artists laughed evilly. Aren't you afraid of causing a fight between the Duke of Yu family and the 8 Immortal Mountain? Lin Ruoxian said coldly. Ha 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 ha. If the three of you die here, we will just deny it. As far as I know, Ling Xiao and the two of you are not very popular in the 8 Immortal Mountain. Maybe some people will be very happy if you die. The martial artist laughed loudly. Brothers, since we are bored, let's play with these two beauties. While shouting, the 10 martial artists pounced on Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death like hungry wolves. Courting death. A terrifying white snake martial soul appeared behind Lin Ruoxian, and a strange shield appeared in his hand. This was the Snake Clan's treasure, the Snake Hair Stone Shield. The shield flashed with a strange light, and the martial artist at the front was petrified on the spot. Immediately after, the nearby Yu Death suddenly attacked and shattered the stone statue. You dare to kill the people of the Duke of Yu family. Chapter 25-22. While the battle raged on outside, Ling Xiao was already close to the Thunder Chalcedony. He could feel that the closer he was to the Thunder Chalcedony, the more pressure he felt. In the end, he had no choice but to activate his Advanced Thunder Body. Under the protection of the Advanced Thunder Body, he was able to move forward. As for Dawn Wind Kenyang, he also had the advanced thunder body. It seemed that Dawn Wind Kenyang was just as desperate for the thunder Chalcedony as he was. Ling Xiao could even feel the murderous intent in Dawn Wind Kenyang's eyes. This guy wouldn't be thinking of snatching away the heavenly thunder Chalcedony, then push the blame on me, right? Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. Regardless of whether his guess was right or not, what he needed to do next would not change. He continued to move forward, but he found that even the advanced thunder body could not withstand the terrifying attack. By then, he was only 5 meters away from the thunder Chalcedony. Many people have tried, but this is basically the limit. Even my sister, who has a top-level lightning body, can only get 3 meters closer. Dawn Wind Kenyang looked coldly at Ling Xiao and said, "If you can't do it, then get out of my sight. I don't have time to hang around with you." Ling Xiao ignored Dawn Wind Kenyang's sarcastic remarks and focused on the thunder Chalcedony. His entire body suddenly changed. He had already entered the Jade Rabbit transformation state. The Jade Rabbit was stronger than the black-striped flying tiger, so it should be the right choice. So this is the legendary beast warrior? He is just like Qin Beixian. No wonder he is so confident. Dawn Wind Kenyang could not move forward, but he could still watch Ling Xiao move forward. Just like that, Ling Xiao moved forward another 3 meters and was only 1 meter away from the thunder Chalcedony. However, it was almost impossible to go any further. Ling Xiao had the most sensitive intuition to danger. He believed that if he continued, there would be danger. Therefore, he took out 3 alchemy stones and threw them out. The alchemy stones emitted a blinding light and formed 3 layers of defense. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ling Xiao finally crossed the last meter. Success! When Dawn Wind Kenyang saw that Ling Xiao had successfully come into contact with the heavenly thunder Chalcedony, he could not help feeling pleasantly surprised. Then he began to circulate his inner energy, preparing to kill Ling Xiao the moment Ling Xiao came out. This heavenly thunder jade marrow, he really wanted to obtain it. However, the 13th prince said that the thunder Chalcedony was for the Arcana Academy. He had no right to obtain it. Therefore, his best option was to kill Ling Xiao and obtain the heavenly thunder Chalcedony. He would then announce to the outside world that it was Ling Xiao who stole the heavenly thunder Chalcedony. In this way, the dead could not bear witness, so who would know that the item was in his hands? It was such a perfect plan that even he admired himself. Why haven't they come out yet? Dawn Wind Kenyang frowned. He discovered that after Ling Xiao came into contact with the heavenly thunder Chalcedony, he actually sat there motionless. His body gradually turned into a strange jade statue. Even the outer layer of defense was shattered. Bolts of lightning crazily surged into the strange jade statue. What's going on? Dawn Wind Kenyang frowned. He loudly asked a few questions, but Ling Xiao did not respond. Helpless, he could only sit there and wait. At this moment, Ling Xiao was ecstatic. He was not in a hurry to condense the peak lightning battle body. Instead, because of the terrifying power of lightning, it directly stimulated the accumulated energy in his body, causing his cultivation to rapidly increase. Under the protection of the jade statue, he did not have to be afraid of the lightning strikes at all. He was probably the only one who could do this. As the power of lightning continued to gather in his body, his cultivation continued to increase, just like at the bottom of the Demon Sea. Later stage of the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Peak stage of the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Peak stage of the 5th level of the energy. 20%, 30%, 40%, the energy was crazily accumulating, and soon it reached 100%. He was only 1 step away from breaking through to the 6th level of the Yin-Yang realm. However, breaking through to the next level was much more difficult than breaking through to the next level. Ling Xiao had basically absorbed all the power of lightning in the Sky Thunder Pit, but he was still a little short. However, at this moment, everyone in the Sky Thunder Pit was shocked. Because the sky thunder pit, which was originally filled with lightning, suddenly became quiet. Dawn Wind Kenyang, who was cultivating somewhere in the sky thunder pit, suddenly realized that the power of lightning around her had become extremely thin, and finally, there was not a trace left. All of it was condensing in one direction. While she was shocked, she spat out a mouthful of blood in anger. It should be known that she was at a critical moment in her cultivation. Suddenly, the external energy was gone, and the power in her body was too strong, so she was injured. Who? Dawn Wind Kenyang's angry roar sounded above the sky thunder pit. Many people heard it clearly. The guards of the sky thunder pit were all trembling with fear, and their faces were pale, because everyone knew how terrifying Dawn Wind Kenyang was. Although she was very beautiful, not only was she powerful, but she also had a fiery temper. She was simply a tomboy. Those who offended her would most likely die. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's bellow startled Ling Xiao, who was in the midst of cultivation. Since I can't break through for now, let's go back first. It's not good to stay here for long. Ling Xiao planned to go back to the 8 Immortal Mountain and cultivate the top-tier lightning battle body before attempting to break through. Perhaps he could succeed in one go. Stop! Dawn Wind Kenyang could not let Ling Xiao escape. Although the current situation was completely out of Dawn Wind Kenyang's expectations, and he did not know what Ling Xiao had done, he was certain that the sky thunder chalcedony was gone. The power of lightning in the sky thunder pit had also disappeared. The disappearance of the sky thunder chalcedony was already a big deal, and the disappearance of the power of lightning in the sky thunder pit was even more troublesome. This was because the Thunder Yuan Jades and Heavenly Thunder Chalcedony were formed by the constant bombardment of the jade stones on the ground by the power of lightning. Without the power of lightning, the sky thunder pit was considered useless. If the 13th prince knew, he would definitely kill him. Therefore, he could not let Ling Xiao escape. He would either capture him alive or kill him. Thinking of this, Dawn Wind Kenyang had already pounced on Ling Xiao, who was coming out. Lightning intertwined on his palms, and the sound of thunder continued. This strength was not ordinary. It was no wonder that he could be ranked in the top 10 of the genius list. He was much stronger than most of the geniuses in the 8 Immortal Mountain. However, Ling Xiao did not even look at such an attack. He just casually struck out with his palm. Dawn Wind Kenyang felt as if he had encountered the most terrifying lightning in the sky thunder pit. His body was instantly sent flying, and he landed heavily on the ground in horror. What's going on? This guy is so strong. Chapter 25-23. Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang was well aware of Ling Xiao's information. He was only at the middle stage of hell. Even if he could challenge those of a higher rank, he shouldn't be this strong. Whether he understood or not, it was too late. Ling Xiao didn't even look at the heavily injured Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang as he walked out. Duke Yu's residents definitely knew about the sky lightning pit. Once more experts arrived, they wouldn't be able to escape. Hence, they had to end this quickly. As for whether Duke Yu's residents would come looking for trouble, that was another matter. Who dares to barge into the sky lightning pit? Ling Xiao walked out with quick steps. Suddenly he heard a squeal. The voice was filled with anger and brutality. Needless to say, to be able to enter the sky lightning pit as a woman, it had to be Duke Yu's residence's Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang. The other party was a martial artist at the 6th stage of hell. Ling Xiao didn't want to waste time with her. Looking at Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang, who was lying on the ground, he couldn't help but sneer. He grabbed Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang's neck and continued walking forward. Soon, Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang appeared in front of him. To be honest, this woman was quite pretty. However, she dressed like a man and had a fiery temper. He didn't like her. Elder Dawn Wind Kenyang originally planned to kill this intruder, But when she saw her brother in the other party's hands, her face darkened. She had no choice. She was afraid of breaking the vases. She couldn't let her brother be killed by the other party. Ling Xiao only needed to use a little strength to break Elder Dawn Wind Canyon's neck. The Sky Lightning Jade Marrow belongs to the capable. You guys have been guarding here for so many years and have yet to obtain it. Today I obtained it myself, so it's mine. Furthermore, the Sky Lightning Pit was born naturally. You guys actually took it for yourselves and used it to earn money. How despicable. I'm doing justice on behalf of the heavens today. Ling Xiao looked at Elder Dawn Wind Canyong and said, "You better get out of the way. Otherwise, I'll send you a corpse." His expression was calm, but his tone was cold. Elder Dawn Wind Canyong stood there and didn't move. Instead, she looked coldly at Ling Xiao and said, "Release him. Leave the Sky Lightning Jade Marrow. Come with me to the Duke Yu's residence to plead guilty. Otherwise, I'll make you wish you were dead." This woman was too calm. Her own brother was being held hostage, yet she could still be so arrogant as to ask Ling Xiao to confess and hand over the heavenly Thunder Jade essence. Who did she think she was? Of mystic world's king of sovereigns? Idiot! Ling Xiao laughed coldly. His right hand was still around Dawn Wind Canyon's neck, but his left hand twisted Dawn Wind Canyon's right arm. Bang! Ah! Daybreak Kenyon let out a blood-curdling scream as his right arm was broken. The remaining 5 were also injured. 2 women who were as beautiful as her were fighting against these 5 people. Ruoxian, Moon Death, the item is here. Let's go. Ling Xiao had been a little worried about the 2 people outside. However, he was relieved when he came out to take a look. It seemed that he had underestimated the strength of these 2 ladies. Run? Where are you running to? Elder Dawn Wind Canyon's voice was suddenly heard. One of the martialists at the peak of the 5th level of Hell had actually left Ling Xiao and Elder Dawn Wind Canyong behind. The sharp blade in her hand was aimed at Elder Dawn Wind Canyon's body. This woman was really vicious and merciless. She even wanted to kill her own brother. Elder Dawn Wind Canyong didn't dare use the talisman when he saw someone lunging over. Because the one who pounced on him was not his sister, it would be useless even if he used it. Ling Xiao frowned and kicked Elder Dawn Wind Canyong away. Of course, he had snatched the talisman away. Trapped Beast Struggle. This was the name of the talisman. Ling Xiao had heard from a Yuan Venerate that this talisman could explode with great power in an instant. It was a talisman used for mutual destruction. Chapter 25-24. The moment Ling Xiao put away the talisman, Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon had already charged over. This woman was really good at seizing opportunities. Die, stinking brat! Although Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's body was weak and his strength had been severely damaged due to the mishap in his cultivation. However, in her opinion, if she wanted to kill Ling Xiao, it should still be as easy as flipping her hand. She leaped high and chopped down with the giant axe in her hand. Behind her, a warrior in golden armor appeared. This should be the martial soul of the Duke of Yu residence. The warrior in golden armor shone with light. This light gathered on Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's giant axe, increasing its power. Stinking bitch, do you really think I'm afraid of you? Ling Xiao snorted and the black deity sword appeared in his hand. His body was also wrapped in the jade rabbit transformation. Black deity sword, divine grade spiritual artifact. It was perfect to deal with Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon. Shadow martial art, sword cry Een Mountain. Sword Ren's Yellow Spring kill. In an instant, sword intent surged in the sky. The first sword broke Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's giant axe attack. The second sword sent Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon flying. Humph, you want to fight with me in your current state? What a joke! Ling Xiao snorted and did not continue fighting. He put away his weapon and used the 1,000-mile wolf to break through the sky. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death followed closely behind him. Damn it! Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon looked on helplessly as Ling Xiao escaped. He was infuriated. Not only did this guy snatch the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony, but he also caused her cultivation to go wrong. It also triggered the hatred between her and her brother. This made her mood worse than ever. She had the urge to kill her way to the 8 Immortal Mountain, but in her current state it was unrealistic, so she could only watch Ling Xiao escape. I must kill this brat before the 13th prince reaches the 8 Immortal City. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's eyes were filled with hatred. Lock Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon up. She suddenly shouted angrily. Ling Xiao didn't care about what happened to Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon. He, Lin Ruoxian, and Moon Death had already escaped from Sky Thunder Town and headed straight for 8 Immortals Mountain. During the short break, Moon Death worriedly asked Big Brother Ling Xiao, I'm afraid that the people from the Duke of Yu's mansion already know that we stole the Heavenly Thunder Chalcedony. Do you think they will directly kill their way to the 8 Immortals Mountain for revenge? Ling Xiao smiled and said, It's normal to do that in a fit of anger. However, the battle for the Ox Deity's Labyrinth is about to start. The Duke of Yu won't fight with the 8 Immortals Mountain at this time. At most, they will ask the 8 Immortals Mountain to hand over the 3 of us. Do you think the 8 Immortals Mountain dares to do this? I don't dare. Lin Ruoxian shook his head and said the 8 Immortals Mountain will definitely deny it. After all, the Duke of Yu's mansion didn't catch us. This is their biggest mistake. The 8 Immortals Mountain is pressured by the Honorable Master's divine canon, so no matter what, they have to step forward to defend it. That's right. So after we return, let's cultivate in peace. There's no need to worry, Ling Xiao said with a smile. Then I'm relieved. Moon Death also felt that this should be the case after listening to the two's analysis. After all, the remnants of the divine codex still existed. The people of the 8 Immortals Mountain were still afraid of that woman. Besides, even if the 8 Immortals Mountain didn't protect Ling Xiao, if that woman made a move again, the Duke of Yu's mansion would be out of luck. Moon Death didn't know that the divine codex was no longer here, so she felt even more relieved. All right, we've rested enough. Let's continue on our way. Ling Xiao stood up and said, Okay. The 2 women answered, and then the 3 continued on their way. At this time, they still hadn't stepped out of the Duke of Yu's mansion's sphere of influence. Suddenly, smoke and dust rose in front of them. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. Not good. It's a beast tide. Ling Xiao had seen a beast tide before. Although he felt that the scale this time was not large, he was very surprised that it would appear in a city with so many people. The beast tide trampled a village along the way. The ground was littered with corpses and miserable howls. Even Ling Xiao, who was not a kind person, felt sorry for it. However, what surprised him was that when the beast tide got close to them, they actually surrounded them. Their target was obviously them. A beast tide controlled by someone. Ling Xiao frowned. He had heard that there was a treasure in this world that could trigger a beast tide. Although it was difficult to control, it could make the beast tide only target a certain group of people. You two be careful. I'm afraid we've been tricked. Ling Xiao first thought of the people from the Duke of Yu's mansion. However, he couldn't see anyone at this time and couldn't be sure. He instantly entered the black-striped, flying tiger, beast soul transformation state. The Jade Rabbit's defense was high, but its attack was not as good as the black-striped flying tiger. The ferocious armor covered Ling Xiao's body. His combat strength soared at this moment. He took out the white jade flying dragon sword and black immortal sword at the same time, holding them in both hands. Faced with such a dangerous situation, Ling Xiao did not intend to hold back. He wanted to go on a killing spree. Tai Chi Eye Search. Facing the beast horde, Ling Xiao continued to fight while casting his Tai Chi Eye to observe his surroundings. He believed that this beast tide was man-made. Therefore, the other party should be hiding nearby. It's them. Finally, after a while, Ling Xiao found the two people hiding in the dark. Who are they? Lin Ruoxian asked. Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian. How did they know I was here? Ling Xiao frowned and said, Sister Ruoxian, Moon Death, I'll leave these beast tides to you. I'll go kill those two people and the beast tide will be resolved. After saying that, he suddenly opened his mouth and roared. Roar! The roar that came out of his mouth was the roar of a ferocious tiger. Tiger's roar! This was the special ability of Ling Xiao's black-striped flying tiger. The horrifying roar spread in all directions. A large number of beasts were stunned or killed by the roar. Some of them seemed to have escaped the control of some kind of power and fled into the distance. There were originally thousands of beasts, but now there were only a few hundred left. This number was no longer a threat to Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. It would not be a problem to leave it to the two of them. Ling Xiao transformed into the Black Wolf General again and used Wolf Traversal. He instantly passed through the beast tide and charged toward Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian. No matter who told Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian his whereabouts, these two people had to die today. Now he had the strength to absolutely crush Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian. In an instant, Ling Xiao had already appeared in front of Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian. The two of them were startled and hurriedly retreated. Tell me who sent you, and I'll leave your corpses intact. Otherwise, you'll die without a burial place. Ling Xiao looked at the two of them contemptuously and said coldly, Ling Xiao, your death is here. No one sent us. We're the ones who want to kill you. Do you think your whereabouts are very secretive? What a joke. Chapter 25:25. As he spoke, Sha Tongtian had already charged towards Ling Xiao. Qi Lian also pounced over. However, she knew that she was not strong enough, so she followed behind Sha Tongtian in an attempt to ambush him. When the two of them attacked, they both transformed into sand witchers at the same time. All they wanted was for Ling Xiao to die. Therefore, they would use whatever method was best for them. Repay? Haha, with just the two of you? Ling Xiao sneered. In a flash, he passed by Sha Tongtian and pierced Qi Lian's throat with a sword. Did this woman have a screw loose in her head? With such little strength, she dared to seek revenge. Qi Lian, oh Qi Lian, in the past your two daughters wanted to kill me, so I killed them. I took pity on you and didn't touch you. Who knew that you didn't know what's good for you? Then you can reunite with your two daughters in hell. He pulled out his sword. Qi Lian's body fell to the ground. Elder, hang in there. He will die. Before dying, Qi Lian looked at Sha Tongtian. Her eyes were not filled with despair, but determination. She seemed to want to do something. However, Ling Xiao did not understand. Qi Lian was already in such a state. What else could she do? However, Sha Tongtian clearly understood the look in Qi Lian's eyes and understood what Qi Lian was saying. Go in peace. I will fulfill your last wish. Sha Tongtian suddenly roared. Suddenly, the sky was filled with sand and a black sun shone in the sky. The air was filled with the aura of death. Everything in the surroundings could not be seen clearly. Ling Xiao, I'll let you have a taste of my sand races, top jade, grade martial arts technique. Raging sword howl. The sword rose. Sand howl. It was a scene of the northern desert that made people uncomfortable. Sha Tongtian's move was similar to the dark race's dark shadow strike and the sword race's firmament sword print. They were both top jade, grade martial arts techniques, but they were of inferior quality. Also, they were not strong. Like Sword Tide, they were only proficient in fire control. Therefore, Ling Xiao was not afraid of this attack. He took out the white jade flying dragon sword and pointed it at Sha Tongtian. Although he did not know what Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian were up to, as long as he could kill Sha Tongtian, he believed that Qi Lian's scheme would fall apart. Eastern purple Qi sword, one sword to the west, one sword to destroy. Ling Xiao was surrounded by purple clouds. The two consecutive stabs were so fast that they seemed to be stabbing out at the same time. This terrifying attack was not inferior to Sha Tongtian's top-tier, jade, grade martial skill. The sword of return to the west had severely weakened the furious sword howl sandstorm. The sword of destruction destroyed the howling sword of fury, and the sword Qi continued to surge towards Sha Tongtian. It pierced through Sha Tongtian's shoulder. Blood flowed like a river. Tell me what Qi Lian's last words meant, and I can spare your life. Ling Xiao was a cautious person, so he would not easily take risks. He absolutely did not believe that Qi Lian's words were empty words. Ha ha ha, Ling Xiao, are you afraid? You're finally afraid. But it's useless. You'll die soon. Sha Tongtian roared as if he did not care about his life anymore. In order to kill Ling Xiao, he did not care about giving up his life. All right, since you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. Ling Xiao shook the white jade flying dragon sword in his hand. He did not intend to waste any more time. Instead of asking questions, he might as well use the four-leaf demonic eyes. Shadow martial skill, sword howl in the Yin Mountains. The move was as fast as the sound of a whistling sound. The moment the sword was released, it was already in front of Sha Tongtian. If the sword hit, Sha Tongtian would definitely die on the spot. Damn it, no wonder Qi Lian said he wanted to use that thing. This kid's growth is too fast. At this moment, Sha Tongtian no longer had any means to block Ling Xiao's attack. He could not dodge it even if he wanted to. He could only stand there and watch in horror as death approached him. He was taking a gamble. If Qi Lian's thing was completed earlier, he would be able to survive. Otherwise, he would definitely die. It was a pity that he would not be able to see Ling Xiao's death. It was a pity. He won the gamble. That resplendent sword light was actually blocked by the blood-red radiance. A ball of blood-red lightning drilled out of Qi Lian's corpse, and a huge thunderbolt roared in the void. It actually destroyed the sword light. What the hell is that? Ling Xiao froze for a moment. His intuition told him that he was in danger, and he immediately retreated. Run as far as you can. That woman is simply crazy. She actually has the undying thunder. Yuan Venerates also shouted in the spirit sea at the same time. Undying thunder? Ling Xiao had heard of such a thing before. This was a type of blood-red thunderbolt that came from the underworld. Only demons from the underworld could use it. If a human martialist wanted to use it, they would have to sacrifice their own life. Before Qi Lian had died, he had used his own life as a medium to summon the undying thunder in order to kill Ling Xiao. As long as Ling Xiao didn't die, the undying thunder wouldn't disappear and would continue to attack him. This was the terrifying part of the undying thunder. Not only could the undying thunder burn a person's body, but it could also burn a person's soul and cause them to never be reincarnated. However, the person who sacrificed their life would also never be reincarnated in order to achieve this effect. It seemed like Qi Lian's hatred for Ling Xiao was bone deep. She would rather never be reincarnated than let Ling Xiao die. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Sha Tongtian laughed maniacally when he saw Ling Xiao's sorry state. You didn't expect this, did you, Ling Xiao? Qi Lian was actually willing to summon the undying thunder in order to kill you. You're finished. No matter who you are, no matter who's behind you, you must die here today. Ling Xiao, Big Brother Ling Xiao. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death, who were watching from afar, were so anxious that they couldn't do anything. Die for Ling Xiao? That would be useless. The undying thunder contained Qi Lian's soul. It would only attack Ling Xiao and not anyone else. Logically speaking, Ling Xiao should be panicking right now. However, he didn't show any signs of panic. He wouldn't change his expression even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. This was his character. The more dangerous it was, the calmer he would be. He had experienced this kind of crisis more than once, but he had survived each time. He believed that it would be the same this time. Even if he really died because of this, he would face it calmly. A martial artist would always have to face life and death. What he needed to do now was to try his best to survive. At this moment, he didn't care what he exposed. Behind him, the vast universe appeared. The Tyrant martial soul was released. The huge Tao Tai beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed the undying thunder. He wanted to refine the undying thunder. However, the situation didn't seem to be as easy as he thought. After all, this Tao Tai beast hadn't grown up yet. It was still a cub. After digesting a small part of the undying thunder, it spat out the rest. It still chased after Ling Xiao. I don't believe it today. Chapter 25-26. Ling Xiao had not used his superpower for a long time, and he even used his Sky Tyrant martial soul. The huge gourd hung upside down in the Sky Tyrant universe like a huge black hole, sucking in a portion of the undying thunder. However, it was still unable to completely destroy the undying thunder. However, Ling Xiao was even calmer now. Since he could destroy a portion of the undying thunder, he had a way to completely refine it. Perhaps this would be an opportunity for him. 18 Hell Talisman. Dragon Talisman, Ancient Hell Dragon. The Blood Soul Talisman, which had not been used for a long time, appeared. Out of the 18 levels of Hell, 5 had been strengthened. There were 13 levels that had not been strengthened. However, they were all able to absorb a portion of the undying thunder and seal it. The ancient Hell Dragon was even more ferocious. It had swallowed a third of the undying thunder. As a result, the originally huge undying thunder was left with less than half of its original strength. On the other side, Sha Tongtian watched all this with his mouth agape. He was completely dumbfounded. He thought that once the undying thunder appeared, Ling Xiao would definitely die. Unfortunately, he was wrong. Ling Xiao's trump card was definitely not as little as he thought. All right, I'll let you help me break through. Ling Xiao took out the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony. He received the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony. In the terrifying roar, Ling Xiao was completely enveloped by the undying thunder. Then, the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony released purplish-blue lightning and stood together with the undying thunder. When the sandpiper and the clam fought, the fisherman would benefit. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, felt relaxed. Originally, it was very difficult to completely devour the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony. It would take a long time to suppress the violent power of the Heaven Thunder Chalcedony. However, with the help of the undying thunder, Ling Xiao did not need to use any effort. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he absorbed the Heaven Thunder and Undying Thunder and started to forge his top lightning battle body. Looking at this scene, Sha Tongtian's mouth opened so wide that it could swallow a crocodile. No, impossible. You're simply a freak. Monster. Originally, Sha Tongtian had planned to watch Ling Xiao get killed even if he died. However, at this moment, his mood had sunk to the bottom. He looked at Ling Xiao's actions in disbelief, feeling as if he was dreaming. At this moment, Lin Ruoxian had already rushed over and pierced Sha Tongtian's throat with his sword. This Sha Tongtian had attempted to kill Ling Xiao. To her, this was something that was absolutely unacceptable. I can't accept it, I can't accept it, I can't accept it. Sha Tongtian muttered to himself as he knelt on the ground. The anger and despair in his eyes gradually faded. He was finally dead. Moreover, he died with his eyes wide open. But no one sympathized with him. Sha Tongtian wanted to kill Ling Xiao, and Ling Xiao killed him. This was an eye for an eye. Fair enough. Sister Ruoxian, what happened just now? Who is Big Brother Ling Xiao? Moon Death had yet to recover from the shock. Why do you have to ask so clearly? Ling Xiao has his secrets, and we have our own secrets too. As long as we trust each other, it's enough. Lin Ruoxian said calmly. Sister Ruoxian, you're right. I understand. Moon Death was just a little shocked. In fact, the stronger Ling Xiao was, the more benefits it would bring to the Moon clan. Therefore, she naturally wouldn't be dissatisfied. It's good that you understand. Let's guard him here until he completes his cultivation. Although they knew that it wasn't safe here, Ling Xiao couldn't move at all in his current situation. The only thing he could do was to stand guard here and ensure Ling Xiao's safety. Okay. Therefore, the two of them sat there and paid attention to the situation on both sides. Ling Xiao was completely immersed in refining the immortal lightning and heavenly thunder jade marrow. He believed that after this absorption, his top-notch lightning battle constitution would be stronger than anyone else's top-notch lightning battle constitution. Other people's lightning battle body was only of the yang attribute. His lightning battle body was of the yin and yang attribute. Everything in the world was only perfect when yin and yang were in harmony. It could be said that Ling Xiao's peak lightning battle body would be the most perfect peak lightning battle body. There was no doubt about this. About an hour later, some uninvited guests appeared in the valley. The experts of the Duke of Yu's residence had caught up. Although it was clearly a hastily formed team, there are still more than 100 people. Among them, there were dozens of martial artists at the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Xiaofeng Canyue and Xiaofeng Qinyang had also caught up. Xiaofeng Canyue was obviously still very weak, but she couldn't let go of Ling Xiao. Moreover, the Duke of Yu had led all the Yin-Yang realm's 6th revolution martial artists to pick up the 13th prince. She was the only one left with the strongest cultivation. Therefore, she had to catch up. As for Xiaofeng Qinyang, he naturally wanted to make up for his mistakes. When enemies met, their eyes would turn red. The two sides didn't agree and started fighting. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were both very strong. However, they had just experienced a huge battle. Moreover, they couldn't escape and had to guard Ling Xiao. Therefore, their opponents took advantage of this point and kept exhausting them. Another hour passed. The two were covered in injuries. However, he remained by Ling Xiao's side, unwilling to leave even a single step. What did Ling Xiao do to be able to get two powerful allies like you two? Furthermore, you two are so beautiful. Xiaofeng Canyue was very surprised. She had never met such a tenacious enemy before. Moon Death could barely open her eyes and was on the verge of collapsing. Lin Ruoxian had lost too much blood and couldn't even move. However, the two of them didn't even think of escaping. They didn't even think of doing so. Kill them. Although they are respectable, they are still enemies. Xiaofeng Canyue waved his hand, and the remaining experts pounced on them like wolves and tigers. Moon Death, do you regret it? Lin Ruoxian leaned on the ground with his sword and asked weakly. No, Big Brother Ling Xiao saved my life. It's worth it for me to repay him with my life. It's just that if we die too early, what will happen to Big Brother Ling Xiao? Moon Death was really unwilling to die like this, because the task of guarding hadn't been completed yet. It's good that you don't regret it. Then let us bleed to the last drop of blood and block these guys for Ling Xiao. In fact, they were already very powerful. Of the more than 100 experts that Xiaofeng Canyue brought, only a dozen were left. If news of this spread out, their reputation would definitely increase a lot in the 8 Immortal City. Suddenly, their shoulders were gently pressed by a warm hand. Thank you for your hard work. Eat the healing pills and start healing your wounds. Leave the rest to me. The voice was gentle and considerate. At that instant, Lin Ruoxian and Yu Shang were so emotional that they started crying. Sai, you have suffered because of me. Chapter 25-27. Ling Xiao gently supported the two girls and put them into his beast ring. Then he looked coldly at the enemies in front of him. It only took 2 hours. Ling Xiao not only successfully merged the immortal lightning with the heavenly thunder chalcedony, he also condensed a powerful top-tier lightning battle body. This battle body was comparable to a top-tier jade grade martial technique. In other words, those who didn't know top-tier jade grade martial techniques couldn't even hurt him. Not only that, the energy of the immortal lightning and the heavenly thunder chalcedony allowed Ling Xiao to reach the early stage of Hell Realm Level 6 from the peak of Yin Yang Realm Level 5. This step was a qualitative change, because only by taking this step could Ling Xiao be said to be able to do whatever he wanted in the 8 Immortal City. Even if it was someone like Lin Yuetian, if he went all out, he would have a 60% to 70% chance of winning. He looked at Dawn Wind Waning Moon and sneered. Good, I've successfully cultivated the top-tier lightning battle body. I'll use you guys to test it. Then, without waiting for their response, Ling Xiao suddenly released a terrifying lightning aura. His entire body was bathed in the terrifying lightning. Top-tier lightning battle body, heavenly thunder form. Because of the fusion of 2 types of lightning, Ling Xiao had 2 different lightning battle body forms. One was the heavenly thunder form. It had the greatest increase in speed, defense, and attack. The other was the immortal lightning form. The most terrifying thing about the immortal lightning was that it couldn't die. In this form, Ling Xiao was almost immortal. Although the immortal lightning wasn't as powerful as the heavenly thunder, once released, it wouldn't stop until one was dead. If the opponent wasn't killed, the lightning wouldn't be extinguished. Both forms had their own advantages. What Ling Xiao released now was the form of heavenly lightning. He raised his right hand and released the terrifying heavenly thunder. The dozen people who wanted to kill Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were all killed on the spot. The smell of burnt corpses filled the valley. It was extremely pungent. Only Dawn Wind Kenyang and Dawn Wind Kenyua were left, and their faces were filled with fear. It's all because of you. Now both of us are finished. Dawn Wind Kenyang had already lost his will to fight and complained to Dawn Wind Kenyua. Damn it! If it weren't for the problem with my cultivation, even if this Ling Xiao had condensed a top-grade lightning battle body, I wouldn't be afraid of him. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon felt very vexed. They had clearly caught up to the enemy, but not only had they failed to kill him, they had also lost all the experts they had brought with them. Only Daybreak Kenyang and her left. Next, it's your turn. Ling Xiao was furious. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were injured to such an extent that he really needed to vent his frustrations, and the enemy in front of him was the perfect target. Die. He suddenly threw out a punch. He didn't even use any martial skills. He just relied on the power of thunder and lightning from his top-notch lightning battle body to kill the 2 of them. Dawn Breeze Kenyang and Dawn Breeze Kenyang watched in despair as the fist wrapped in lightning flew towards them. However, their bodies could not move at all. It was as if they were completely stiff. They were so stiff that they could not move at all. The death god was only a foot away from them. At this moment, a figure landed in front of the 2 of them and blocked Ling Xiao's fist. Thief! You stole my Duke Yu's mansion's heavenly thunder chalcedony, and now you've killed so many of my Duke Yu's mansion's cultivators. Are you trying to start a war between the Duke Yu's mansion and the 8 Immortals Mountain? The newcomer shattered Ling Xiao's fist shadows, and then began to rain curses on him. Commander Chen. Dawn Wind Kenyang and Dawn Wind Kenyua heaved a sigh of relief when they saw the middle-aged man in front of them. Commander Chin was the Grand Commander of the Duke Yu residence. His cultivation was at the middle stage of the 6th level of Hell. Although his cultivation wasn't as high as Dawn Wind Sanyua's peak, he was still very strong. However, in Dawn Wind Sanyua's opinion, killing Ling Xiao would be a piece of cake. She had fought with Ling Xiao before, and could feel that although Ling Xiao was powerful, his cultivation hadn't broken through to the 6th level of Hell. This was a huge gap. Ling Xiao couldn't win. Don't worry, the Duke will be here soon. However, I can take care of these two brats. Commander Chen said confidently. Indeed, with his cultivation, he could do whatever he wanted in the 8 Immortals County. He was one of the top existences. He wasn't bragging when he said that he could easily kill Ling Xiao. Be careful, the wind is strong. You might sprain your tongue. Ling Xiao looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and felt that he might have met a good opponent. Although his cultivation had broken through, it wasn't stable yet. It would be good if he could use 50 to 60% of his current cultivation. Fighting with Commander Qin would help him stabilize his cultivation and improve his lightning body. That would be very useful. Impudent. You actually dare to be so arrogant in front of this great commander? It seems that the rumors are true. Relying on the protection of a powerful master behind you, you have reached a level where you consider everyone else beneath you. However, those trash from the 8 Immortal Mountain may be afraid of you, but I'm not. I originally wanted to go to the 8 Immortal Mountain to seek justice, but since we met here, you can die. After Commander Qin finished speaking, he went straight for Ling Xiao. There was no point in talking nonsense with this brat. It was better to capture him alive and hand him over to the 13th Prince. Perhaps he could even get some rewards. For safety's sake, Ling Xiao not only used his lightning battle body, but he also transformed into the black-striped, flying tiger bee soul. However, he still didn't use the black immortal sword. He held the white jade flying dragon sword in his hand. Commander Qin used a long saber. The thick blade and long hilt made it look very domineering. This saber was also an immortal grade spiritual artifact. It was similar to Ling Xiao's white jade flying dragon sword. Kill! Commander Qin roared, and a warrior in golden armor appeared behind him. However, this warrior held a large saber, which was different from Xiaofeng Wanyue's. The release of his martial soul meant that Commander Qin valued Ling Xiao very much. Although he had said that Ling Xiao was not worth mentioning, he did not underestimate his opponent in a real battle. This kind of person was the most difficult to deal with. Commander Chen waved his saber and turned into a row of afterimages. In an instant, he was in front of Ling Xiao. In terms of speed, you can't compare to me. Although Commander Qin was very fast, Ling Xiao's 1,000-mile wolf was even faster. Coupled with the fact that he had already condensed a top-notch lightning combat body, his speed had improved by leaps and bounds. 1,000-mile wolf, lightning wolf. Violent, heavenly lightning bloomed on Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao instantly dodged Commander Chen's attack. Then he stabbed the white jade flying dragon sword in his hand towards Commander Qin. Dark shadow lightning sword art. Sword cry in the Yin Mountain. Thunder roar in the firmament. The power of lightning surged in crazily, causing some changes to the original dark shadow martial art. Chapter 25-28. Thunder and lightning roared in the sky. Sword chi filled the air. Commander Qin didn't think too much about it. He turned around and waved his broadsword to block the attack. He could feel how powerful Ling Xiao's attack was, so he didn't dare to be careless. Clang! A terrifying sound echoed in the valley. 2 divine-grade spiritual weapons collided, and the trees around them were all destroyed. Commander Qin was even sent flying by this tremendous force. A look of extreme shock appeared on his face. How can this be? Aren't you a martial artist at the 5th level of hell? It's impossible for you to exert such terrifying power. As he spoke, Commander Qin adjusted his posture in the air so that he didn't fall when he landed. He was shocked by Ling Xiao's strength, but he wasn't afraid. Instead, he was more eager to fight. The moment he landed, he exerted force on his feet, and the ground cracked. But he still dashed toward Ling Xiao at an extremely fast speed. He was like a ferocious beast. The broadsword in his hand turned into a shadow and chopped toward Ling Xiao's neck. This broadsword was heavy and powerful to begin with. If this attack hit, even with Ling Xiao's defense, his neck would probably be directly chopped off. Good timing! Although he won the previous battle with an overwhelming advantage, it wasn't satisfying. After all, cutting grass wasn't as exciting as a fight between two evenly matched opponents. Ling Xiao didn't dare to be careless. He laughed and released a ball of violent thunder and lightning from his left hand. Blast Thunder Incantation. The Blast Thunder Incantation was originally an advanced Jade grade secret art. Now that he had cultivated it to the transformation level, it was extremely powerful. As Ling Xiao's cultivation level increased, so did the power of the Blast Thunder Incantation. In addition, he had successfully cultivated the Thunder Body. At the same time, the Blast Thunder Incantation evolved into a powerful Jade grade secret art. Although it had just evolved, Ling Xiao didn't know how powerful it was. But as long as it was a Jade grade secret art, he believed that it wouldn't be weak. Sure enough, after it was used, the ferocious lightning roared and pounced out. Not only did it destroy Commander Chen's carefully prepared attack, but it also sent the commander flying. He was in an even more sorry state than before. This time, when Commander Chen fell to the ground, he cut a sorry figure. He wasn't as relaxed as the last time. His astonishment grew even more intense. Are you really that Ling Xiao? He could not believe that the young man in front of him was Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao was ranked 4th on the genius rankings, he wouldn't be in such a passive position even if he were to face Xiaofeng Waning Moon, who was ranked 3rd. However, when facing this fellow, he was completely suppressed. What was going on? Of course I'm Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Come on, that wasn't your full strength, was it? Ling Xiao didn't chase after him because he wanted to fight with Commander Chen. If he defeated him too early, it wouldn't be beneficial for him to hone his cultivation and the top thunder and lightning constitution. Commander Chen felt a humiliation that he had never felt before. His opponent actually challenged him to a fight with such contempt. Hateful. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Golden Armored Warrior Evolution. Golden Armored Deity. As Commander Chen roared, the Golden Armored Warrior martial soul behind him began to evolve. It was like a deity. Not only did its aura become stronger, but its body also became bigger. Golden Armored Deity Fusion. The best way for a humanoid martial soul and a beast martial soul to fight was to transform. The reason why beast martial artists were powerful was because of this. Strictly speaking, humanoid martial souls were also a type of beast martial soul. Therefore, there were probably some beast martial artists in the Dukyu Mansion. The beast god martial artists were extinct, but the beast martial artists weren't. They just became fewer. Golden Armored Deity, Martial Soul Transformation. Commander Chen's appearance had completely changed. His height increased to about 5 meters. His body was covered in shining golden armor. The saber in his hand became bigger and more powerful. It was shining with golden light. This guy's strength has increased by at least 10 times. He has reached the late stage of the 6th level of hell. Ling Xiao's Tai Chi. I quickly analyzed his opponent's strength. However, this is better. Ling Xiao needs his opponent to become stronger. This way he can test his own strength. My Golden Armored Deity, Martial Soul Transformation. An entire 8 immortal city. No one dares to face it head-on. Even the peak 6th level of Hell martial artists don't dare. Our Dukyu Mansion's Martial Soul Transformation specializes in attack. Brat, just wait for your death. As Commander Chen spoke, he began to condense his inner power. The terrifying power was completely poured into the saber. It can be seen that this time Commander Chen is going all out. Since that's the case, I won't waste any more time. It just so happens that I haven't used my top-tier Jade grade martial skill yet. Today, I will use you to test it. If you don't die, I won't attack again. Ling Xiao sympathized with such a good sparring partner. Humph, you're just boasting shamelessly. Commander Qin snorted and stopped talking nonsense with Ling Xiao. He knew that no matter what he said, it would be better to defeat Ling Xiao with one blow. Top-tier Jade grade martial skill, Blade of the Deity. Following his roar, the saber suddenly shone with golden light, almost turning the entire space into a golden color. Huge golden halos appeared behind his back. It looked very cool. However, it was not just beautiful. Each halo represented a level of combat strength. The more halos there were, the stronger the attack. Haha, it's actually a top-tier Jade grade martial skill, as expected of a martial artist at the 6th level of hell. Jian Ruchao and Sha Tongtian are much more powerful. In the face of such a powerful attack, Ling Xiao revealed an indifferent smile. The white jade flying dragon sword was ready. Then he held the sword with both hands and made a chopping motion. Shadow martial skill. Top-tier Jade grade martial skill. Dark Slash. Great mastery. His opponent used a top-tier Jade grade martial skill at the Great Mastery. Ling Xiao also used one at the Great Mastery. He had mastered this move long ago. However, he had only used it against demonic beasts. The mastery was also improved by fighting demonic beasts. Therefore, he did not know what kind of effect it would have when fighting against a martial artist. Slay Xianming was unleashed from the white jade flying dragon sword. The sword light turned into a huge flying dragon that roared and attacked Commander Qin. Saber and long sword. The collision between the two top-tier Jade grade martial skills was finally completed. Rumble. A huge roar sounded. The surrounding trees were completely destroyed by the terrifying aura as if they had experienced the end of the world. With the two as the center, a radius of more than 10 meters became a desert. It was terrifying. Chapter 25-29. After the first collision, Ling Xiao was also sent flying. However, he was in a much better condition than his opponent. He somersaulted in the air and landed steadily on the ground. He didn't seem to be injured. He wasn't injured at all. I lost. I actually lost. Commander Chen fell to the ground and looked up at the sky. He couldn't accept this outcome. He lost, and he lost so miserably. He could even feel that his body was being destroyed by the crazy power of lightning. He could probably live for a few more minutes. You. Who are you? I'm about to die. Can't you tell me the truth? Commander Qin used the last of his strength to roar. I've said it before. I'm Ling Xiao. It's just that my luck was a little better. Thanks to the generosity of the Duke of Yu's mansion, I was bestowed with the Heavenly Thunder Chalcedony, allowing me to cultivate a top-grade lightning battle body. Ling Xiao glanced at Commander Qin. He felt some sympathy for this person. After all, he didn't have much enmity with this person. Since the other party wanted to kill him, he had to kill the other party. It was that simple. Moreover, he had said that if the other party didn't die from his attack, he wouldn't continue to attack. He was a man of his words. He would never go back on his words. Commander, Xiaofeng Kenyang and Xiaofeng Kenyue looked at Commander Qin, who was on the verge of death. They were filled with pain and fear. When did Ling Xiao become so powerful? They couldn't understand. Was it because of the Heavenly Thunder Chalcedony? You too get lost. After killing him, I can't be bothered to kill anymore. However, I'm warning you, don't think about revenge. Otherwise, I'll make all the efforts of the Duke of Yu's residence go to waste. Ling Xiao put away the white jade flying dragon sword. After defeating Commander Qin, he had vented most of the anger in his heart. Xiaofeng Kenyue and Xiaofeng Kenyang were lucky. Thank you for sparing my life. I won't go against you in the cow house maze. Dawn Wind Kenyang hurriedly cupped his hands, turned around, and fled. As for Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon, she didn't say a word. She only glanced at Commander Chen's corpse before leaving. These women were really heartless. Commander Chen had died for them, and they didn't even take his corpse with them? What he didn't know was that Dawn Wind Waning Moon only wanted to leave as soon as possible. Once he recovered his strength, he would find him for revenge. This was because Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon felt that he still had the strength to defeat Ling Xiao. However, if he allowed Ling Xiao to continue improving, he would completely lose his chance. Perhaps the Ox God's maze was his only chance for revenge. Forget it. At the very least, you and I had a great battle. I'll bury you. Ling Xiao glanced at Commander Chen's corpse and sighed. Wait, this is for you. I didn't expect that I would have to rely on you to be buried after fighting for them. How ironic. It was a dagger with the lightning attribute. I obtained it from a large family that was raided. It was said that it contained some kind of secret. However, I haven't been able to decipher it. Today, I'm giving it to you. I only hope that you can leave my corpse intact. These were Commander Chen's last words before his death. He didn't put the dagger in his storage ring. Instead, he wrapped it in a cloth and kept it close to his body. If he didn't say it, Ling Xiao would have missed it. The dagger was very short, only slightly longer than the 3-inch flying dagger. It was about 5 to 6 inches long. There was a purple-blue gem embedded on the hilt. There was also the word Xian carved on it. He didn't know what it meant. The moment Ling Xiao touched it, he suddenly felt a terrifying lightning energy surging out of the dagger. Fortunately, he had a top-grade lightning body. Otherwise, he would have been injured. It really is a good treasure. Although I don't know what secret it has, I'll slowly study it in the future. He put the dagger and Commander Chen's corpse into his storage ring. Ling Xiao then buried Commander Chen properly. He originally planned to just bury him casually. However, Commander Chen gave him such a good item before he died. Even if it was just for this, he should bury him properly. After doing all this, Ling Xiao went to 8 Immortal Mountain. When he returned to the courtyard, he released Moon Death and Lin Ruoxian from the beast ring. He spent 3 days and 3 nights treating their injuries. Not only that, but he also opened up their blocked meridians. This allowed Lin Ruoxian, who was originally at the peak of Yin-Yang Transformation Stage 5, to achieve a miraculous breakthrough. He also became an early-stage Yin-Yang Transformation Stage 6 Hell Cultivator. Moon Death advanced from the late-stage Yin-Yang Transformation Stage 5 Hell to the early-stage Yin-Yang Transformation Stage 6 Hell. In terms of strength, she wasn't as strong as Ling Xiao and Lin Ruoxian. However, her cultivation was on par with them. Ling Xiao also completely erased the artifact spirits inside the 2 Dharma treasures, turning them into Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death's items. After the master recognition, the 2 Dharma treasures could unleash their full power. Of course, the 2 girls' injuries were also healed. Although it took 3 days and 3 nights, it wasn't a waste of time for Ling Xiao. After all, these 2 girls were willing to sacrifice their lives to protect him. He only wasted a few days. How could he feel wronged? That's great, Brother Ling Xiao. Your strength is probably on par with Xiaofeng Wanyue. With the 2 of us working together, we don't have to be afraid of Chen Beixian and Lin Yuetian. Unless the 2 of them work together, the victory in the Ox Deity Maze will be ours. Moon Death said excitedly. That's right, but there's no such thing as 100% certainty in everything. Therefore, we still need to continue to cultivate steadily. There are still 6 days before the Ox Deity Maze. We must stabilize our cultivation level. Only then will we be able to surprise the other contestants. Ling Xiao was very calm. Brother Ling Xiao is right, but aren't you going to take revenge on the sword race? Moon Death asked. Ling Xiao had used the 4-leaf demonic eyes to get some information from Qi Lian. It seemed that the sword race had exposed his whereabouts on purpose. That was why Yushang asked this question. Don't worry, the most important thing right now is the Ox Deity Maze. Once the battle is over, the sword race and the sand race will cease to exist. Do you really think that I, Ling Xiao, have no respect for the sand race? Ling Xiao said coldly. With his current cultivation level, he could definitely wipe out the sword race. After all, the sword race no longer had any elders. The strongest among them was Jian Kuan. However, to avoid trouble, he decided to wait a few days and let Jian Kuan and the others live for a few more days. Ling Xiao is right. If we seek revenge now, the 13th prince will be unhappy. The 13th prince arrived at the 8 Immortals County 3 days ago. He said that he would not allow any infighting before the ox deity, Maze, begins. Anyone who goes against his words will have to die. Because of this, the Duke of Yu didn't come to the 8 Immortals Mountain. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.